a lot to be known about people. Gotta reach 'em, see it right down there.
As you know, 12 days ago, I had dinner with President Trump, a dinner that was set up by my friend Kid Rock, because we share a belief that there's got to be something better than hurling insults from 3,000 miles away. And let me first say that to all the people who treated this like it was some kind of summit meeting, you're ridiculous. Like I was going to sign a treaty or something. I have no power. I'm a fucking comedian, and he's the most powerful leader in the world. I'm not the leader of anything, except maybe a contingent of centrist-minded people who think there's got to be a better way of running this country than hating each other every minute.
Want to get it off your chest? You're in the right place. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you about us boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun sprinkled with a lot of laughs? Heard in every state in the Union and 1,000 cities around the world. We just finished 16 years of broadcast excellence, now in our 17th year. The Dave Weinbaum Show is streaming live all over the world. The Democrat Party has parlayed mistakes in judgment into a cancer that's growing fast and furious enough to where Bill Maher has a sudden redemption with Trump. Carville tells the party, the Democrat Party, start over. They've buried themselves, and like old people and dying parties have fallen and can't get up. Apparently, they can't find the button to push that would send someone out who at least had enough brain power to get back in some political wokeness that keeps them from going deeper and deeper in the sewer. While many on both sides criticize Maher as a silly retrobate, I think his 2.5-hour visit with Trump at the White House was monumentally normal, bringing us back to the Reagan administration, where after fighting with Tip O'Neill, they could be friends and share a drink or two before their next battle. As Trump pointed out during his State of the Union, Dems had no mercy for murdered women, trafficked children by the cartels, who, by the way, partner with the Democrats, in order for them to steal all the elections in the future. They are so blinded by their greed, they even shunned a 15-year-old black boy with brain cancer who was made an agent to the SS, to the Secret Service. The boomerangs Dems sent out to kill the GOP have returned twice as fast as they were thrown. And they have cut them off at the knees. Even Mark Cuban is now backing Trump.
So meet up in person. Maybe it'll be different. Spoiler alert, it was. First good sign, before I left for the Capitol, I had my staff collect and print out this list of almost 60 different insulting epithets that the president has said about me. Things like stupid, dummy, lowlife dummy, sleazebag, sick, sad, stone cold crazy. Really a dumb guy, fired like a dog, his show is dead. There's 60. I brought this to the White House because I wanted him to sign it, which he did. But she did with good humor. And I know as I say that, millions of liberal sphincters just tightened.
Hi there, welcome to the Dave Weinbaum on a sphincter note. We're here with my lovely bride, just got here, Lisa Ann Weinbaum. You looking good, baby.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You look pretty good. JP Maxwell, you looking good,
Good morning, everybody.
And it's Good Friday today, right? And so Easter is Sunday. And I think we're done with Passover. I think it's like maybe a couple more days of it. I got to ask the rabbi.
Not 100% positive, yeah.
I got to ask the rabbi. Speaking of which, the rabbi is going to be on second to J.J. Bradshaw's first. And we got Chris Adamo at 9:30. And a new person, Judyth. Judyth is on at 10. She was Lee Harvey Oswald's girlfriend during the time he was killed. And we have Bill Hardwick coming out at 10:30. He's going to tell us everything the government is doing and maybe shouldn't do. We got a great clip that he sent me of what he said about the Third Amendment. So you gotta hear that one. That was great stuff from Bill Hardwick. Anyways, good Friday, good happy. I don't know if it's a happy day or not. Is it a happy day?
Well,
or you're mourning?
No. So here's
Not happy.
It's not happy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting when they call it Good Friday because it really was. It was not a great day as far as in the life of Jesus. Now it was great for us on the receiving end for us that believe and all that. But it's kind of interesting to me calling it Good Friday. But I guess that's what they call it. So, but
like I was saying before, they have Lent where they put the cross on the forehead.
Ash Wednesday, yeah.
Ash Wednesday,
Yep.
And I don't do Lent because I paid up early.
Good job.
So thanks, appreciate.
Don't
that.
like falling behind.
Got
right?
it before I guess we had a mail truck had a fire out here. I didn't know anything about it, but I got a guy from last week, Rick Henderson, who I should mention is the assistant producer of the show. He does all the bits and the clips. He called me last night, told me I ain't got my check yet.
Well, and I actually had some people at work saying that they were concerned for people that they may have put their tax return paperwork in the mail because it was around the tax deadline, and did some of their tax deadline paperwork get burned up. So,
oh my God, they have copies, don't they?
I don't know. That's why usually on that stuff you want to go inside and get it certified.
Yeah.
So that there's some kind of paper trail, not just throw it in the mail, but not everybody does. So,
Oh, that's true. It costs money. Yeah.
Yep. It does.
It costs money. And in a way, probably you could weasel out of it if it's found that it was destroyed.
You might be able to get an extension, but I doubt they're going to.
Sure.
You know how the government is; they like to get their cash. So, Uncle Sam,
they can wait.
That's what I think.
You can wait till we get the money. There was a fire. I didn't set it. Okay, give me a break, for goodness sakes. All right, so we got a great group of people coming on today. This Judyth gal, she's 82 years old, and she's still fighting over the fact that the Kennedy assassination is now being released by the Trump administration. Of course, they've had it for a while, and they're saying that, there's got to be hundreds and thousands of information on that. Had the Warren Commission pretty much said it was Lee Harvey Oswald, and she knew this guy intimately, and she's got a lot of other stuff that she does. She's a biologist. She's a brilliant person, actually. She's telling me what I should take to stop my brain from going sour. So I don't know if that's going to help or anything. It's just too bad. It's too bad, Weinbaum. Yeah, and in about seconds, we're going to have our friend up, and that would be J.J. Bradshaw, and then the rabbi. And let's play something funny. We never play anything funny early. Why don't we do Carlin and who? Reagan, yeah. Yep.
Do you ever notice how awful your face looks in a mirror in a restroom that has fluorescent lights? Every cut, scrape, scratch, scar, scab, bruise, boil, bump, pimple, zit, wart, welt, and abscess you've had since birth all seem to come back at the same time. And all you can think of is, I gotta get the out of here!
There was a fellow that was on his way to a mountain resort, and a policeman stopped him and said, "Did you know that you're driving without taillights?" And the driver hopped out of the car. He was so badly shaken that the officer took pity on him and said, "Well, now, wait a minute, calm down. It's not that serious an infraction." The fellow said, "It may not mean much to you, but to me it means I've lost my trailer, a wife, and 4 kids." Cub reporter whose first solo assignment was interviewing a fellow who was just going to have a birthday that made him the oldest person in town. And he got to the address. It was an older building out in the outskirts of the city, and elderly gentleman ushered him in. He sat down, and the reporter determined he was the man, and he said he was there for the interview, and he led right to the matter about how old are you, and the man said 96. He said, "To what do you attribute your longevity?" And the fellow said, "I don't smoke, drink, or run around with wild women." And at that moment, there was a crash from upstairs. And the reporter looked up and he said, "What was that?" The old boy said, "Oh, that's Dad. He's drunk again."
And speaking on that note, we have our first guest of the day. And he is a 256-year-old man. And he's an expert on the Constitution. Why? Because he helped form the Constitution in his early years. And he is an expert on the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, and all the other amendments. Please welcome all the way from Raleigh, Missouri, John Jeffrey Bradshaw. Bradshaw.
Morning, Dave.
Good morning. How are you?
You know, I'm great. Let's start this with a question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Do you believe in karma?
Well, karma, if it means that things seem to happen when you believe in God that may not have happened before, I guess you could call that God karma. How's that?
Well, karma is a Buddhist idea.
Yeah.
If you believe in karma, then maybe you believe in what goes around comes around. Maybe.
Oh, yeah. I do.
Okay.
I actually do. I've seen that happen.
Yeah. Let's talk about a little boomerang problem involving Letitia James.
I knew you were going there.
Letitia James has been an enormous entertainment to me.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who just showed up for this show and have never heard of Letitia, she's Attorney General of New York State. She's the one that prosecuted Donald J. Trump for real estate fraud.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know about that case, apparently some of Trump's minions inflated the price of a few buildings that Trump was taking loans for. He got the loans. The bank was happy. The bank got paid off. In fact, everybody in the room was happy except Letitia James, who said, "You have committed bank fraud, real estate fraud, and we're going to prosecute you." And of course,
And
she
those
did.
words seem to ring even now in these days about her.
Well, in fact, Trump is paying $114,000 per day still in fines on this thing. Well, okay, what goes around comes around. It turns out Letitia James, since she is the Attorney General of New York State, is required to live in New York State, and she lives in Albany. She took out some loans for houses in Virginia and claimed that they were her permanent residence. Some independent folks went and knocked on the doors, and nobody'd ever heard of Letitia. These were rentals that she had bought. And she had said that this was going to be her permanent residence, so she could get a good mortgage rate.
Yeah.
Does this smell a lot to you like what she prosecuted Donald Trump for?
Yeah, and she even went further.
Does
Tell
this
her
look
about her
like one of
father.
them
Tell us
things?
about her father. You know about that?
I don't know about her father. I
Her
thought she had
father signed off on the papers as her husband.
Oh, yeah, I did read
He
about
signed
that.
those papers too.
Okay. An
Yeah, it doesn't get much
investigation,
better than that.
an
I guess that would be
investigation,
karma.
it,
Yeah.
an investigation has been opened, and it looks like they're going to prosecute her for this
Yeah.
stuff.
How could they do
Um,
that? Oh my gosh.
I think it's just wonderful. You know, a number of pundits had said that that prosecution of Donald Trump in New York State was nothing but a political sham,
Of
and that
course.
the only victim in that particular crime was Letitia James because it gave her something to prosecute.
Yeah, but
I know,
wait. The one thing that sticks in my craw is they have valued Mar-a-Lago at $18 million. Now,
yeah, yeah,
you try to sell it for me, I'm there.
yeah,
If I can find the financing, I am
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Okay,
Somebody's been
trust me,
smoking
that's got to be
crack.
worth about 50 to 100 million bucks,
Yeah,
right
somebody's
there.
smoking crack in that outfit. It was no
Oh
doubt
my
a Democrat
gosh.
liberal that suggested that. But anyway, my fun for this week has been Letitia fixing to get prosecuted for what she prosecuted Donald Trump for. I think there is karma, and I think she's getting the butt end of it right now. And good, good, you deserve it, girl.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh yeah, and she's
Uh,
screaming about it. She's screaming. How dare
oh
they?
my God, she's
Picking on a
howling.
poor black woman.
Yeah,
Stop.
I, yeah. This is all a vast right wing
There you
conspiracy.
go.
Anyway, that was so entertaining to me. And as long as we're talking about liberal clowns, let's talk about the DNC for a moment.
Oh,
The
God.
DNC a while back had a little election, and they elected two co chairs, and one of them is David Hogg.
Yep.
If you have heard this name before,
I know
David
you.
Hogg was supposedly a victim of the 2018 Parkland school shooting, and he has been a vocal moron ever since,
Yeah.
pushing for gun control, pushing for every liberal cause that there is. Well, David Hogg, co chair of the DNC now, you know, this is not a trivial position.
Right.
David Hogg has decided he is going to take 20 million bucks of DNC money and primary some Democrat politicians in the
Yeah.
House for the 2026 and 2028 elections.
Yeah.
Now, this is the Democrats eating their own, Dave.
I
Uh,
know.
you know, these folks under Pelosi had always been in lockstep. And even when, what was her name, Ronna McDaniel was
Yeah.
running that outfit, they
Running
were in
GOP.
lockstep.
Yeah.
They were hooked up. Now you've got this 25-year-old clown with a room temperature IQ who has decided that he wants to go after the Rhino Democrats. What do they call them? Dino? Democrat in name only?
Oh no.
The, the folks that aren't doing much in the Democrat Party. He's going to take 20 million bucks and primary them. Well,
Yeah.
okay. When I read that, I had to go see what James Carville had to say about this.
What did he say?
Oh my God, Dave, I cannot. There's filth in there. There's cuss words in there I cannot say on a podcast. But Carville just exploded. And to paraphrase what Carville said, this dumb bucket of feces is going to ruin this party. And how the hell did he end up as co-chair anyway? Good job, Carville. You're still
Well,
insane, but you're good for a little bit.
Carville said we need to start over. The
Yes.
Democratic Party is done. We need to start over.
You know, one of their
How far
clowns the
gone
other
they
day said that it is not our policy that's killing us. It's our messaging. We're just not getting the message across.
are.
Well,
Yeah.
boys,
We
you
need to
got your
help them
message.
get that message across because the
You-
message is completely killing them.
Yeah, you got your message across. I
Well,
completely
here I am.
understand
Yeah,
your
okay.
message.
That's what I do. I help those Dems get that message across.
Yeah. So these folks are sinking, Dave. They're sinking in the worst sort of way. And it's so much fun to watch. This is so entertaining to me. Speaking of stupid Democrats, and there are a whole raft of them out there, Joe Biden gave his first televised speech since he decided to not be president anymore. And I watched that thing. Poor Joe. He can't read a teleprompter. He's so lost. He mentioned colored kids in this. Now we're talking 1950s racism.
And they're trying to excuse him for that.
Yeah.
That's what they were called back then, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is 1950s racism that fell out of this guy's mouth. And he mentioned in that speech, and read it off a teleprompter, that we should treat one another with dignity.
Yes. And with brilliance. I have a clip here that we need to play to reinstate Joe Biden, because it's only fair.
Yeah. And just for context, this came out during Joe Biden's presidency, not the current one. So we just want to make sure and clarify that. It
wasn't anybody's blame.
Right.
It's my fault, and I don't care.
I love America. It's an amazing place. And do you know what I've come to realize, right? Americans, you basically do everything that we do, but you do it bigger and you do it better. Like, we have stupid people here. But your stupid people are world class. And that is not me saying, oh, all Americans are stupid. No, America also has the smartest people on the planet. What I'm saying is that when America does stupid, you do stupid. Like, our village idiot is in a park shouting at clouds. Yours is president.
That
I had heard that clip so many times, but I had never seen video to show.
It's coming. It came back. What can I tell you? It came back.
I love it. Poor Joe, after calling the colored kids,
yeah,
circa 1950s bigotry, treat one another with dignity. And right after that, he mentioned that Trump supporters were garbage.
Yeah.
Now there's dignity for you. That's the Democrat version of dignity. By the way, I'm gonna treat you with dignity, and you are garbage.
Yeah.
This, you can't get much dumber than this guy. They really do need to lock him up in the basement, and I think they ought to put David Hogg in there with him.
No, I want to hear more from Biden. It's great. Yeah, let's hear more from Hogg too. These guys are nuts. Yeah, do you think people like what they're saying? Do you think they liked it when that senator went down to release that murdering SOB from El Salvador?
Yeah. Dave, I think while we're at it, we might as well throw in AOC and some of the other squad members, because if we're going to have a congregation of stupid, we might as well at least have a quorum. And I think if you throw a few more in, you would have a quorum.
Well, who else are they going to pick for president? AOC, it looks to me like she is the one.
Can you believe it?
No, she's dumber than hell. She can give a speech. She's dumb.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, I you know what? It's hard to believe, actually. What will she do when she gets in?
What retarded committee came up with this idea? This woman, all you got to do is watch the video clips of her, and you recognize that there's room temperature IQ there that has no plan for any of this.
That's
other
right.
than, hey, I'm cute and I know how to mix a cocktail.
And she knows how to give a speech, and she's good at that. She's an actress. But anything else beyond doing something is beyond her. In fact, she has no clue what she's doing.
If you're going to run for president, you better have some concept of policy. And I suspect there's little concept of policy with this young lady. Speaking of stupid Democrats, my God, there's so many of them. Judge Boasberg. Remember Judge Boasberg?
I know all about him.
He is, and this is going to segue into my final little segment here, but Judge Boasberg would like to hold Trump's administration in contempt.
Yeah.
For deporting a Salvadoran national to El Salvador, where, of course, he was immediately thrown into prison.
Yeah.
Now, it's come out that this guy was probably a wife beater and an MS-13 gang member. But let's remember the fundamental parts of this thing. This person was in our country illegally. He was not a naturalized citizen. That allows us to deport him to begin with.
Right.
Now, the Supreme Court has come out and said, oh, yeah, by the way, that Alien Enemies Act is an okay thing for you to use, Donald. It's all right.
How about that?
And here's Boasberg going up against the Supremes, saying, no, you got to bring this guy back.
Yeah.
You got to give each one of these folks due process before you deport them. I beg to differ.
I want to stop you right there. Each one of them, there's millions of them. That'll take them 100 years. And that's the whole idea. That'll take them 100 years to do that. That's why they have the branch of government that is the managing branch of government. That would be the presidency.
That's correct. Isn't that well, doesn't that strike you as odd that this fellow is sticking his neck out, and I think he knows he's sticking his neck out, going against the Supreme Court. Now, he's doing so using some pretty thin excuses, but here's the next piece of this thing.
Okay.
The Supreme Court is going to hear oral arguments 10 a.m. May the 15th regarding nationwide injunctions that are imposed by federal judges.
Yeah.
As you know, a federal judge can impose a nationwide injunction as it stands right now. And by the way, that's nowhere in the Constitution.
Right, exactly.
And that's what they've been using, this lawfare, to slow down Trump's agenda. SCOTUS is going to hear this, and this is actually a week past when they normally go into recess. They usually don't do that. Their recess is hard and fast. If we're quitting May the 1st, we're quitting May the 1st. But I think SCOTUS is recognizing that this has some constitutional implications. And I'd love to see what's going to happen in this thing. I hope they televise some of those oral arguments.
This has a history, as you know, from Jefferson to Jackson to all these people, where they tried to use these kind of lawyers to run the country.
Yeah,
and they pretty much told them to go away, and they would do things like in later times, like Lincoln or whatever, they would shut them down. They would shut down the Supreme Courts.
Yep.
And they got rid of all those dumb judges like we have right now.
Those judges are appointed, and federal judges
Right.
are appointed by the president. Nobody questions who they appoint, and then look at what we've got. I mean, my goodness. We need to do a little something about that, and I think SCOTUS is fixing to do that. I think what they're going to do is restrict federal judges to be able to only stop things that are relevant to a case that they've got in the district that they're in. So if you happen to be in San Francisco, a San Francisco judge can shut down what's going on there, but cannot make it nationwide.
Right.
Nowhere in the Constitution is this power enumerated for federal district judges. Not at all, not a single word. Over the years, and this started with Lyndon Baines Johnson, who did some very bad things to our country.
Oh, yeah.
Back when the Great Society program was initiated, he empowered those judges to do that. In other words, he suggested to one of these judges, hey, you can go a little beyond your bounds and I won't call you on it. And that's what he did. Yeah. That's been going on since then. That was the 1960s.
Right.
And it has gotten so out of hand with the lawfare. We've got judges that are so far over the tips of their skis, Dave, and somebody's got to call them on it. And the only one that can do that is the Supreme Court. Now, Donald J. Trump's pretty much thumbing his noses at these judges as well. And I'm glad that he is, because they're in the wrong. I think the executive branch can deport who they wish when they wish, as long as they're not U.S. citizens. They have violated our immigration policies and laws. He's well within his rights to do that. Now, to do that using the Alien Enemies Act, I'll give him this. That's kind of unique. I wouldn't have pulled that one out of the woodwork, but he did, and apparently he's making it stick. So, yeah, Dave, this has been such an interesting week. I've been grinning most of the week because bad things are happening to the Democrats and good things are happening to the conservative patriots. Bring it on. I love it.
Well, let's face it, everything they do is hated by the American people. Trump's got a point. He says, I overwhelmingly won this election. This is what America wants. And you probably shorted me about 5-6 million other votes that I could have had. And this is what they want. They want the aliens the hell out of this country. They know what they've done to people. They know how much they want the Mexican cartels out of the country.
Yes, I'd like to see them dead, actually.
Not registering with Democrats.
Say, the other night, I decided that I would identify as a woman and attended the Merrimack Republican Women's Gathering.
Oh, my God, I heard. I heard the skirt was too short. The wig was too long. I heard a lot of things about that.
Let's face it, I don't make much of a woman, but I certainly enjoyed my time there, and those folks were.
Well, at least you brought a good woman there.
We had a good time and learned some things about the Constitution. Actually took a little 10-question test. I got 80% on that thing, but I'm a constitutional sort of guy. But anyway, thank you to Pastor Pat and Lisa for having me there. That was just a whole lot of fun and some great folks.
We're glad you could attend. It really livened up the group, JJ. So
it
was nice to see you again too.
So was he wearing a wig and stuff?
I didn't notice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you got by it,
If he was, it was very tasteful.
I mean, they call it the women's deal. So you went in as an alien.
Well, he was
an illegal alien to that meeting.
He wasn't the only man.
I told Pastor Pat first thing, I identify as a woman tonight, so please let me in.
Well, Floyd Jernigan was there too, so you were in good company.
Oh, good.
So
it was a good time.
Yeah.
Thank you all for inviting me.
Sure.
Dave, that's all I got for today.
All right, my friend. We got anything on the books here? I think we got a few comments. By the way, if you want to call the show, 573-578-2700, or
you can also reach us on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Rumble. Got so many places.
What about Twitter?
X, yeah.
Oh, X, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. God, I'm on Twitter all the time, and I don't remember it's X. Okay, let's see what we got. All right, Patricia Odin Maxwell, the head pastor to the Dave Weinbaum Show, sounding good, looking good. Go team! Rick Camino, good morning, Rick. Tell your buddy there was a fire at the truck. That's why your friend is having trouble with his check, we believe. There was a fire. Did you know about that? Did you know there was a fire on a mail truck?
I knew that.
I didn't know that. Somebody just told me that. I'll call you later. All right, or call your buddy later. Ray Maddox, good morning. Roy, is it Roy? Yeah, it's Roy. And what a cute little dog that is. That's the kind of dog my wife likes. Thanks, JJ. Great information from Patricia Odin Maxwell. We enjoyed you and Gene so much at the meeting.
That was fun.
Yeah, well, that's great. Is that it? Okay, well, thank you so much, my friend. And that's JJ Bradshaw. Give him a round. Okay, that's enough. No overtime today. No overtime. Thank you, JJ Bradshaw. And let's do a couple more of the clips. Oh, wait, no. We can do let's do the commercials. We're going to do commercials. And go where these commercials tell you these are people we all do business with. All right, hit it.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Honey, what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy, but also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender, all one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle, you don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments, that's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
At your locally owned Price Chopper, our standards are high because we know yours are. See for yourself what an incredible fresh selection of grocery items we have in store. Talk to our expert meat associates about what you're looking for. They're happy to meet any special requests like custom cuts, or see our expert produce associates on how to pick out the best fruits and vegetables. Quality in the deli means fresh, full flavor, and always delicious. If you're craving fresh baked goodness, we have that too. You can expect the best selection and the best value while interacting with our friendly and knowledgeable employees. You can find what you're looking for fast and easily at the best prices at Price Chopper. Fresh savings every day. A-Car Real Estate, where experience matters. 532 million sold since 2003, the number one sales volume in Phelps County. As a client for decades, I can say they are the best in mid-Missouri. Call 573-368-7355. That's 573-368-7355 for the best real estate experience you'll ever have.
Gotta reach 'em, see it right now.
Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
Maybe it's for a kitchen you've always wanted. Maybe it's just to have a little extra room. Whatever the reason you're considering a new home loan, it's good to know that Town & Country Bank will guide you in the right direction. Our experienced local lenders are here to help you with a new home construction, remodeling projects, and fixed and adjustable rate home loans. You can even start the process online by clicking Online Mortgage Center at tcbanks.com. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All right. We have with us, well, I'm going to wait till he gets on. There he is. Wartime rabbi supports widows and children of IDF heroes, an author, and the official rabbi to the Dave Weinbaum Show for 16 years. Imagine that. I was 7 years old when we started this. Please welcome all the way from Ephrat, Israel, Rabbi Moshe Rothschild. Good morning, Rabbi. How are you?
I'm good, Dave. How are you?
I'm good. Is Passover over, or is it still going on?
No, today's the 6th day, and tomorrow's the 7th and last day here in Israel.
Do you have another feast on that day, or what?
Yeah, it happens to this year overlap with the Sabbath.
Yeah.
So we get a 2-for-1. The last day of Passover and the Sabbath coincide.
Why is that? Everything's a deal.
Yeah, we get a good deal. 2 for the price of 1.
You know what the difference is between a Jew and a canoe?
Canoe tips.
That's right. You got it. There you go. Very good. You're memorizing all my jokes. That's not good. All right. So Bibi and your friend and my friend, I guess, Ron Dermer, can't seem to break Hamas leaders from keeping Israeli and United States hostages. Even Gazans are starting to wake up. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think we've made a lot of progress. You know, it's slow going, this approach.
Why are we doing a slow going thing? Get those people out of there today, or we're bombing the hell out of you forever until you give up.
Well, we are doing that. The problem is you don't want to kill the hostages that are still alive.
Well,
so that's the issue.
Well, killing them is a pretty good. I'm not talking about the hostages, but killing the other guys is a pretty good way to get them to do something. They're not doing it. They're just stringing you out.
Well, we've made some progress on. We've hit 1,200 targets in the last few days, and we've killed a lot of terrorists. We're making a lot of progress. I think it's moving in the right direction.
Well, in Lebanon's case, over 400 Hezbollah commanders and their families fled Lebanon to South America, fearing Israel would hunt them down. Hezbollah to be dismantled soon. Israel should be known for bringing organization to its knees.
Yes, it is true. Israel has completely, in my opinion, at this point, reduced Hezbollah dramatically. I wouldn't say they're all gone, but we're moving in a direction where there will be hopefully limited or no Hezbollah influence in Lebanon. But we'll see.
Do they have any leaders left?
They're already on the second and third tier.
I mean, hey, I'm the leader now. How long does he have? I mean,
that's basically how
he's eliminated, right?
Yeah. Like you're talking about the leadership of Hamas, leadership of Hezbollah. They're not really any leaders with experience. They're just guys who step up, who really haven't really replaced people that like Nasrallah. They just, they're more like just young guys with no experience. But no, they have not been able to replace the leadership.
Are they stupid enough to understand that what they're doing is going to probably cause their lives unless they do something to end it?
Yeah, but you're talking about a death cult, and as you can't place a Western mentality on this on the terrorists. They don't think like you. They don't think like me. They're not thinking like a Westerner. Death is not something that they fear. It's something they embrace. So being the leader, knowing that your days are numbered, is not something that they really take into account.
I wonder about that. I really wonder if that's true. I know you say it, and I know it seems like it, but you know what? Uh, these guys fight to not die. I mean, they try not to die. I remember what was the guy's name? Aswar or something, or the guy that was in charge of Hamas. And your son had a friend that was drone on him.
Sinwar.
Yeah,
Sinwar. Yeah,
I mean, he was fighting. He was fighting with the drones. He's fighting to live. He didn't just say, "Okay, take me."
No, it's not that they stand there and say, "Okay, kill me." They're going to try to avoid being killed. But the idea of being killed as it's a strategy. They embrace that. They're not thinking like Westerners. If you think like a Westerner, you lose a certain amount of people. You submit. You give in.
Well, let's abide them and kill them, and then go get the hostages because they're not going to do it. They're going to try to rearm, and you know that from experience.
I know that, and that's that is what we're doing. We're fighting in Gaza. That's exactly what we're doing.
Yes, it's a shame it has to happen, but it has to happen. And
it has to.
We can't go back to what was being done over the last 20 or so years. With
we're not going back to that. No one says we are. No one thinks we are.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
it's getting to be a long time for these hostages to be there. And you're saying, well, yeah, but you can't. You gotta.
You can't. We don't know. We can't know exactly where they are, and we know from the other hostages that we came very close to dropping bombs from the air and killing our own hostages. So, Israel is very thoroughly and systematically going through Gaza. We built a new road called the Morag Road, and we're dividing it up, and we're dividing cities so that they can't move between them. And Gaza City, Khan Yunis, we're dividing them up and slowly squeezing them, but you can't rush in headlong. We don't want to lose soldiers. We don't want to kill hostages. So thank God, since this latest assault on Gaza, I don't think there's been a single soldier killed. We've learned. So.
This is from Bibi Netanyahu. Ayatollah Khomeini, I think that's Iran, posted a call that to eliminate Israel. What position is he in to be able to call for that, or is he in a position to say that, or he's in a position to say it, but can he do it?
He's the grand leader of Iran. He could say whatever he wants, but I don't think they're capable of doing that at all. They don't have nuclear weapon. They don't have the proxies that they used to have, like Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis. All right. So, I remember 1991 when George Bush attacked Iraq.
Yeah.
And Iraq, similarly, they keep talking, and they had this spokesman lying day and night about how they're killing the Americans. And as he's lying, he's on stage. The Americans literally entered the room and pulled him off stage.
That's
George
what's going. Senior, right?
Yeah, exactly. 1991, and you can. This is very typical in the history of the Middle East, where you have a lot of bravado, a lot of bragging, and they're all just a bunch of lies. And what you have someone in the Ayatollah Khomeini, making claims or demands that it's not possible. At this juncture, in the natural order of things, he cannot wipe Israel off the map. They don't even have any air defense system. We took them out, the SAM 300s. We took out their air defenses. So, I think he's a lot of hot air.
Yeah, okay. I'm just eager to see this thing end in the favor of Israel without too much more waiting around for the hostages for these guys to get their act together. Ambassador Huckabee on the job. He goes to the Western Wall and he puts a prayer in from Trump. That's on the Western Wall there in Jerusalem.
That's right. He did. He's been very well received with open arms here, and he brought a note from Trump, put it in the Western Wall. You know what the note said?
I think so. Yeah.
In the news?
Yeah. I think so, but I can't remember it at the moment.
I think it said something like, "Dear God, I like what you did with your wall. Can you help me with Mexico?"
Are you serious?
No, he didn't really say that. But,
well,
but he did put the note in the wall.
Did you go with him? He's wearing a yarmulke and everything.
Yeah, he's wearing a yarmulke and everything. Yeah, he did put the note in the wall.
Is he the first non-Jewish ambassador to Israel from the United States?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
The last two before him were Jewish. The last three I can think of were Jewish. I'd have to look into that. It's a good question.
Yeah. Okay. Well, see, I did something to stump you, anyways. You know all my jokes now. That's not good. So Trump vetoed Bibi's quest to bomb Iran nukes, and somebody claims that it was leaked that this was going to happen. You know about that?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, they apparently Bibi wanted to bomb the nukes, and Trump told him, let's give negotiations more time. And then today they're reporting that Trump says, no, he never really said, he never really told him don't, but he said that,
suggested
something in the middle. Yeah, like a suggestion.
He suggests.
So kind of backpedaled off of it.
I can't see him saying you can't do this. I don't.
Yeah. So today they're reporting it a little bit differently.
He will convince you, possibly.
Yeah.
But I can't see him giving orders to Bibi. I know he would understand the repercussions from that.
All right. So they backed off that a little bit.
Yeah.
So
they got any rabbi rants or scoops?
Not really. No.
All right. Other than Dave Weinbaum show, where can people find you and buy your book? Tell us what your book is, and contribute to you.
They could go to the site secretsofthehebrewbible.org, pick up a copy. It gives you access to the Hebrew text of the Bible, the original language, even though you cannot speak or read a word or even recognize a single letter. It has a unique way of explaining things, so that gives you access to the original Hebrew.
But you can, it's done in English with the phrases in Hebrew that you can look at and what they mean.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is really cool.
And check out our website, IsraelAlliance.org, Facebook.com/Israel Alliance. We'd love to hear from you guys.
In college, my teacher asked me what I thought of euthanasia, and I told her, I says, I've never been there before. Ladies and gentlemen, Rabbi Moshe Rothschild. He's laughing. Oh my God, I made the rabbi laugh.
Yeah.
Shabbat shalom. Happy last day.
All right. You too.
Pesach.
You too.
Hope
you enjoyed the matzah last week.
I'm still eating it. I'm still eating it.
Okay.
It's good stuff.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, guys. All the best. Shabbat shalom. Bye-bye.
Okay. We're back. Let's play a couple more clips from our friend there. I guess he's a friend now. Bill?
Never thought I would hear that or say that. You know what I mean? But here we are.
You got to listen to people. And all he's saying is, I went there. He said like 60 bad things about me. I wrote them all down. I showed it to him, and I said, would you sign this? 60 insults, and she sat there and signed it. Well, that's kind of cool. Okay, what would the other guys have done, like Obama and Biden?
Probably would have called him a schmuck.
Well, he is a schmuck. He knows that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be telling him anything different. Right. All right, let's play a couple more of those clips.
Oh, my God, Bill, are you going to say something nice about him? What I'm going to do is report exactly what happened. You decide what you think about it. And if that's not enough pure Trump hate for you, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. So, no, I didn't go MAGA. And to the president's credit, there was no pressure to. After we left the Oval Office, he showed me the little room off the office, you know, the one where Clinton used to. Okay. The blowjob room. Okay. Well, not anymore. That's where they keep the merch now. It is. And he gave me a bunch of hats, but he didn't ask me to take a picture in one, which I appreciated. The guy I met is not the person who the night before the dinner shit-tweeted a bunch of nasty crap about how he thought this dinner was a bad idea and what a deranged asshole I was. I read it and thought, oh, what a lovely way to welcome someone to your house. But when I got there, that guy wasn't living there. Now, does Trump want respect? Of course. Who doesn't? My friend said to me, what are you going to wear to the White House? I said, I don't know, but I'm not going to dress like Zelensky. I'll tell you that. But, okay. Just for starters, he laughs. I'd never seen him laugh in public, but he does, including at himself. And it's not fake. Believe me, as a comedian of 40 years, I know a fake laugh when I hear it. In the Oval Office, he was showing me the portraits of presidents, and he pointed to Reagan and said, in all seriousness, you know, the best thing about him, his hair. I said, well, there was also that whole bringing down communism thing, waiting for the button next to the Diet Coke button to get pushed and I go through the trap door. But no, he laughed, he got it. I said to him at one point, Mr. President, you know the dog, that's unusual in the White House. He said, well, a lot of the presidents, they had a dog for political reasons. I said, no, people love dogs, that's what that is. Oh yeah, okay, that's true.
What do you know from funny, you bastard?
All right, then, don't take that personal, all right? Well, maybe JP. But anyways, we're back. We're back, and let's talk about a few things happening in the news. PA Governor Josh Shapiro's house burned down during Passover Seder. He's Jewish, by the way, in case you didn't know. And I think they found the guy who did it. Some nut out there. It's dangerous in this world, I'll tell you what. Drill, baby, drill. Fuel companies... we're having that. We have some problems there because one of them caught fire. But I think we're going to have the prices are dropping. Although not where I'm living. They're staying the same. Why is that, JP? Why are we staying the same?
I think it's just taking a little bit of time we got to remember how bad the economy was under Biden. Inflation terribly high, everything high. No matter what Trump does, it's not going to be overturned in one night,
he's talking about $1.99, and we got $2.89.
If you remember, though, by the time he left his first presidency, gas was around about $1 for a gallon.
Was it?
Yep.
That cheap?
Yep. It was getting down that far.
It's hard to remember that.
Mm-hmm. So give it time. The tariff thing, it's a long-term play. It's not short-term. It's going to take a little while to get all this reconfigured, but it's coming.
I figure that, but I worry about going and filling my gas tank and coming back to find out it's 50 cents cheaper today than when I did it yesterday.
So
that would piss me off.
So for those that have not used it, I just started recently using it. I've heard a lot of stuff about it, and from what I'm finding, it does work. You can use this app called Upside, where it will show you where to get. They basically give you money off of your gas, and you get credit back to your card, and then you can put that toward your payment, whatever you want to do, but it's literally cash back on your gas, and it shows you exactly what they're willing to give you back at what gas stations. And from what I've seen to this point, it works pretty good. So,
I guess. Anyone know what the market is today? I guess the market is open until 1 o'clock, from opening time about 8 or 7:30 or 8:30 Central Time.
Yeah, I haven't heard yet. I know it'd be a good time to buy right now while it's down.
I don't know.
I mean,
it's so you can't believe the ups and the downs I've seen. It's actually kind of fun to watch. Of course, it's not fun to see the downs, and there have been massive downs. Yesterday was a big up for me. Why? Because I have a lot of Eli Lilly stock, and that also guess how much it went up in one day? I mean, it was like 190 or something like that, and significant amount of cash going into that amount. And so I was up yesterday, but there are days when the market is up and I'm way down. It's been a real roller coaster. I am down a little bit over the year. So what are you going to do? Hello, honey. How are you?
Dow is down slightly.
Oh, okay.
Very small.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big trading day. Most people are on the road. By the way, I own some McDonald's along with my son. Actually, he owns most of them. I own one majority interest one. And so we want your business, right in the middle of Missouri. Do a little advertising for myself there, at McDonald's. Iran, a nuke and Russia war. CCP, that's the Communist Party. They're stubborn. And no deals yet. However, he keeps saying, Trump does, that now, the Chinese are interested now all of a sudden. They're talking. And they kind of got to make a deal. And they know they do. They're going to cheat all they want. But the big thing about Trump, too, is that he is also making these people pay for the fentanyl they make and take it to the cartels. Cartels distribute it all over the United States. Same thing in Canada. They distribute it all over the states, and they make a ton of money at the expense of human life, at the expense of people that take this stuff and even some of them don't know what it is.
Big Pharma is the same way, but we won't get on that rabbit trail.
We'll talk about it. This gal's the gal I have on Judyth coming up. She's big on this stuff. In fact, she gave me a little test about what do you know about ivermectin. We got to play her ivermectin, the ivermectin song, and she's a controlling person. I can tell, not in a bad way, but she's going to want to have her say without a lot of other people. Who is Abdel? No, you got another one, Abdul Qasim.
Yeah, we'll get to him. We got one on the screen here.
Oh, Rabbi Moshe. We'll see you in a month. That's from Patricia Oden Maxwell.
Nope.
And Kathy Sanford Dillon. Good morning and happy Friday. Have a blessed weekend. Love you all, and we love you too. She coined the word Friday. And have a great Easter holiday. Abdul Kalim. Nice recording setup and show. Man love. Okay, well, whatever. Man love from India with a heart. Isn't that sweet? Thank you, Abdul. I appreciate that. Where's he from again?
India.
India. I'll tell my lawyer I talked to you, Bhavik Patel. How's that?
Yeah, and
you know him? There's only 1.7 billion people there.
Yeah,
and they had a lot of. They used ivermectin a lot in that country. It saved a lot of lives.
The cool thing about his comment too is not only that it's from India, but normally a lot of our comments come in mainly from Facebook or X.
Yeah,
that's on YouTube where he commented at.
Oh,
so he's
really?
watching on YouTube. Yep,
that's cool. Well, yeah. All right. My son did a wonderful job of putting this stuff together. My wife does a great job of getting stuff out to all these groups, and that's working really good. I mean, it's really starting to catch on, so to speak. After it's hard to say after 16 years that I'm actually catching on, but it's true, and you just keep working at something. I don't have this. Well, if you're failing at 2 years or 3 years, you just drop it. Well, I don't believe that. I believe you keep trying until you overcome what it is you need to overcome, and use God a lot. I mean, ask for guidance, and I do that. And sometimes things happen that are so ridiculously odd that you have to think that something besides your efforts are helping you. I believe God committed a bunch of different miracles in Israel, a bunch of them. I mean, and they did it. I think he did it for a reason. He did it because they changed the way they were operating. They didn't do the right thing in the first place. They just let the wars go, and made a deal after they sent them a couple of bombs in, and they would rebuild all these. They'd build all these tunnels. Yes, sir.
If you even look at just the success of the Iron Dome, whenever this last war happened, and the barrage of missiles that would come across, and the amount of them that were shot down successfully, and nobody was killed from the rockets. I mean, and
it's almost ridiculously unlikely, and yet it happened.
Yep.
It happened. And these beepers, oh my God, the beepers, the Israelis, that took them 20 years to figure out the beepers, and they had them distributed from these Arabic companies, and it all went off at the same time. I had to scare the hell out of them. I don't care if they believe in dying soon or whatever, but this had to really shock the hell out of them.
Well, and what's interesting is, for those countries and those terrorist groups specifically, you're going to buy equipment from a group that you eventually attack.
Yeah.
Just not real sound strategy, period, because what if they set you up? Well, guess what? That's exactly what Israel did.
Yeah.
They had the technology. It was sitting there, and they're holding this in their hands, and they don't know they basically have a live action grenade that they're holding.
Exactly.
Insane.
And then they distributed this to all the leaders. Okay. All the leaders were there blowing themselves up, and it saved tons of average civilians in those areas, because rarely were they the ones holding the phones. It was a very localized thing, which everybody should love, because they weren't killing civilians.
It would be like us right now with this kind of interesting situation going on between America and China. We're going to buy a whole bunch of stuff from China, and we don't even know what it's capable of, what it could be used, how it could be used against us.
That's all part of that is all part of the negotiations with them. That's one thing. Trump is good at this. He's great at this, and he's putting it like this. Look, want to make a deal, but the ones that come in first are going to get a better deal probably. So if you're going to decide to wait, you're not going to get as good a deal. So it pays. He's got 130 countries begging. He just had the Italian prime minister, a woman who's, she's kind of influential in the EU, and he's talking to Britain. They got a lot of problems in Britain, by the way. They have a problem with anti-Semitism, anti-Christianity, and if all you Christians out there think this is just anti-Semitic, anti-Jew, it's not. It's anti everything except for the most vile and unconnected religions there are, like in extreme Muslim, where if you're not a Muslim, they want to kill you, and if you better become one, or else.
I think they've pretty much taken over London completely.
Yeah,
from what I
pretty
understand.
much.
I mean, all of their tents and wares are selling, and everything.
And they got the prayers, and the prayers 5 times a day. You have big ways of communicating that music in a very, very loud way.
I think that's going on in Minnesota too, as I understand it.
Sure.
Publicly 5 times a
Yeah, that was Biden. He flew them over.
Yes.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. It was Biden.
I think that was Obama.
It
was Obama.
I think
it
we
was
can
Obama.
trace the Muslim population back a little bit further.
Yeah, it was Obama. Yeah,
To
I meant to
another
say
president.
Obama.
Maybe one
To another
Barack Hussein Obama. Yeah, that's
Hussein.
right. Because that's
Barack.
that's
Yep.
well, that too.
I
Yeah,
used to say that Barack Hussein Obama, and I was talking to France. I was talking to this 24 France station. They wanted to know why'd you call him Barack Hussein Obama? I said, well, for the life of me, I can't understand that because I've always known that to be his name. But like my name is David Michael Weinbaum. Why would I get upset if somebody called me David Michael Weinbaum? No. Why would he get upset if I called him Barack Hussein Obama?
maybe they wanted to keep that hidden.
Yeah, I mean, like, who doesn't know this?
Maybe it's not even his real name. Nothing else on the
Well,
birth certificate is
That's
factual.
that's true.
We don't know.
Isn't the actual first name Barry? From what I've Anyway, I guess we won't get down that rabbit trail.
That was only when he was in Kenya, and he was in like places like India too, wasn't he?
Originally from Kenya, from what I understand.
Yeah, well, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? The one thing is, he's a horrible president. He was a horrible president, and he started all this, and they started all the things that we're fighting now, which is the illegal aliens. You know, and Biden, after Trump stopped it for a while, Biden just went right back to it, and it's now, in a way, this time period, the 4 years that Trump was out of office, was a blessing because you could see the difference. We still feel the difference. This country still feels the difference. Now it's proof. We have the proof that what Biden and Obama did, and by the way, the people that were in the Obama administration were the same people that went over to be in the Biden administration, to the point to where they're wondering whether these guys signed off on all the pardons. These were the guys.
I feel like all this we can point back to Obama, because if everybody remembers during his first campaign, he flat out said it. I'm here to fundamentally change America. Now, he didn't say how.
Yeah.
He just said, I'm here to fundamentally change it. Well, he did. And I remember I was in college at the time, and everybody I knew and all people I knew from high school on Facebook, they were all, Obama, he's the right pick, all that. I said, y'all do not see what he is. Do not fall for it. I did not vote for him either time, refused to vote for him. And I honestly don't think he's not only just a bad president, I think he's a bad person, just my personal opinion.
But. Oh, he is. He's totally evil.
Yeah.
Totally evil.
And he's thinking he might be getting divorced from Michelle, from Mooch.
Or Michael. Sorry.
Who said that?
Yep. Imagine that.
Sorry,
okay?
I had a cough. Sorry.
Get him here. You want a cough drop?
Yeah, I might need one because Michael. Sorry. Yeah.
Here, I'll give you what we were when we elected Obama. A sucker. Here you go. Here's a sucker.
We can't blame that one on us, though.
That's Judy out there. She had some suckers out there. I stole your sucker.
Quit taking things off her desk.
What? Why? I have to. Sometimes I had to look for these. I love these. These things. I can. I have trouble seeing. I'm finally going to the eye doctor. It's going to be an interesting thing because I have to have these. Here, put it up there. Yeah, see this? I can see this basically. These are my notes. I got tons of notes, and you have to have a pen that shows up, and this kind of pen. This, I don't know what this is exactly. I'm gonna do a commercial for.
It's called a flare.
It's called a.
It's called a flare.
Paper.
Flare pen. Really? Flare pen.
Paper loves motto. I wonder if that's China.
Yeah, well, last time
maybe it's Japanese. It might be a Japanese one because we're going to make a deal with Japan, and that's where he's working on right now, which is a smart move, by the way, because that brought China to the table. So that could be interesting. All right, let's do a commercial here, and coming up we got Chris Adamo, and then we've got Judyth Judyth Vary Baker coming on, who was Oswald's girlfriend until he died. Very interesting. Very interesting. She's an interesting woman who knows a lot about a lot of stuff. Hit it.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
With warmer temperatures right around the corner and allergies ramping up, now's the time to get those AC units serviced. At Hartley's, we pride ourselves in offering outstanding service with fast response times. With proper maintenance, you can make those hot days be a lot cooler and remove those pesky allergens that always seem to find their way into your home. Call us today so you can be living a much cooler and healthier life. Hartley's, community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word? But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Busy schedule? Let your locally owned Price Chopper help you save time with online shopping. It's easy. Sign up to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Create an account and browse through the categories and choose the items you need. When you place your order, your personal shopper will get all of the items you've selected, taking the same care you would and following your notes. We offer free curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Start your online order today and no online shopping fee for a limited time. Go to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app to get started. Price Chopper. Fresher savings every day. A-Car Real Estate, where experience matters. 532 million sold since 2003, the number one sales volume in Phelps County. As a client for decades, I can say they are the best in mid-Missouri. Call 573-368-7355. That's 573-368-7355 for the best real estate experience you'll ever have.
Gotta reach 'em, see it right now.
Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
At Town & Country Bank, we are committed to providing exceptional service to our customers. We do more than just provide loans for our community. We help make dreams become reality. Whether it's a new home, farm, business, or a new car, we would love the opportunity to help. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly lending team remind you how special hometown banking can be. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Now, as you know, I am a golf fan, and I've been golfing since I was, somewhat a kid, but not much. In my 20s, I started golfing, and I played, not all that good, but I'm actually better than I ever was because I got a golf coach kind of guy who used to play golf at Kansas, University of Kansas. His name is Bob Wellis. In fact, hold up his book, will you please? He's a very smart guy and is a good friend. And he is the author of The Last Buffalo in Kansas, right? Wrong book. Hey. He's not the rabbi. No. Is that it? Yeah. Oh, Last Buffalo in Kansas. And he's written all sorts of books. He's been all over the world, trout fishing of all things. Really, Mongolia, places like that, Russia. One time he went to Mongolia, and they were almost got into a war with China. It was a Mongolian beef. So now have I stalled enough to where? Yeah. Yes. Okay, let's do this. This is funny.
I remember one night many years ago, Paul called me. It was in the evening, and he said, "Steve, I'm so excited. I've just finished a new song, and I just have to tell somebody." And I said, "Oh, great. What's the title?" And he said, 47 Ways to Leave Your Lover. And I said, "Paul, what if it were 50? 50 ways to leave your lover." And there was a long pause. And he said, "Go on." And I said, "Well, 50 has a nice ring to it, and 47 sounds a little awkward." And he said, "But, I've got 47. I can't think of any more." And I said, "Make a new plan, Stan." And he said, 48. He said, "Don't need to be coy, Roy. Drop off the key, Lee." He said, "Okay, 50, great. Hey, thanks. And I'm sorry if I interrupted anything." I said, "Don't worry, I was just here cooking a chicken." And he said, "Oh, really? How are you preparing it?" And I said, "Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme." And now look it up.
That's so funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny stuff right there. Oh, my God. All right, so we're back on the show. And we got 7 minutes until my friend Chris Adamo is going to be on. And after that, we've got Judyth Vary, don't tell me, Baker. Yeah, and that should be really interesting. She knows all about the Kennedy assassination. She's written a book. I'm not sure whether she's written the 1 book or 5 books. There's a bunch of books she's claims. I think she's written a bunch of books, and also she is she's sort of like she knows what's going on with ivermectin. She knows what's going on with the shots. She's got all sorts of concepts that would help people like Jeff Zink and Robert F. Kennedy. I think she knows all about this, the dieting and the stuff we're getting in our food. So this should be really good. Speaking about golf, though, Rory, an all-time great, because he has now won 4 major tournaments after winning the Masters. And I was talking to some of the high school kids, I think, here who are in the Rolla High School, and where my grandson Daxton has he is a varsity guy on the St. James team. You know, these guys are like a 15, 16-year-old people, 17-year-old. And they're not playing against each other. They're like neighboring. They're so close together. It's incredible. 7 miles away from here. And so I says, well, why don't you get your own tournament called the Mid-Missouri Masters? And that caught on, apparently, because I was playing by myself, coming up on the 18th hole on a cold, windy day. And there was all these, I was on the 18th hole. I was just practicing, dropping balls and, scrambling with myself. And up on the green, there was all these guys up there holding golf clubs. And I'm thinking, are these guys up there practicing? And I picked up my ball once, and I actually started to walk, and I said, I'm going to drop my ball and hit it, because the pin was up, and none of them were hitting balls or anything. They were just standing up there messing around. So I hit a ball, and it was like 6 yards from the green. It was right dab smack in the middle. It was my third shot. And then I hit I'm getting very good at chipping, and I chipped it to within 6 feet of the hole, and they gave it a nice round of applause. And then I sank the putt, and I asked him about the playing the Rolla, playing against the St. James and Rolla, and they says we put it in there with that name. They actually named it after what I said it would be. And they couldn't find a place in the schedule to do it. Isn't that something?
With Rory McIlroy, I mean, that was he gets the career Grand Slam by winning the Masters.
Yeah,
just about choked it. He had it won earlier, and he had to kind of go into a sudden death, as they call it, and extra holes, whatever you want to call it. And he ends up taking it there. But you know what I miss in golf?
What's that?
Back in the day, especially around the Masters, when you could ask this question, it was legitimate. Are you taking Tiger Woods or the field?
Yeah,
and that was a legitimate question.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Tiger was that good.
Yeah, and I wondered, he's 49, I think. He's going to be part of the Trump family.
He's dating one of the Trump girls.
No, he's engaged.
Yeah.
He's engaged to one of his ex-wife's daughters.
I forgot the name.
Lala or something. I forget. But that's interesting in itself. He plays golf with the president, and the president and Jack Nicklaus, they play from the same tees I play from, the senior tees. And I wonder, I mean, I actually parred the first 9 holes of it along with, I've never done that before in my life, not even close. Well, I might have gotten a 30, 38 or something like that, but 34 on the front 9, and it was legit. And I was playing with my golf coach there, and that's Bob Willis. By the way, the other guy, Jack Willis, has been sick, and he's back in the hospital. He was at Barnes, but now he's in Rolla, so I got to probably go see him sometime this weekend. All right, so if you want to call the show, 573-578-2700, and guess who I got right now? He is once again a minute early. He's always early, maybe 2 minutes early. Anyways, this gentleman, and I use that word fairly loosely.
Starting already.
Okay. All right, so Chris Van Holland he was in El Salvador to take back a gangbanger. Maybe we should send your friend Liz Cheney there too. I don't know. Please welcome a wonderful author of the book. Are you holding up his book? And his name is Chris Adamo. Hi, Chris.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, except Liz Cheney is definitely not my friend. Please don't spread vicious
Oh, I'm
rumors
sorry.
like that.
I thought you were just a friendly guy, and you would just
Oh no,
do a Bill Mayer kind of thing, Bill Mayer, and say, "Yeah, I can be friends with her."
I can be friends with all decent people. I don't give any credence or any latitude to
Bill
evil
Maher
people.
wanted to talk to you, and you let him. Would you be a friend of his, even though you dislike him?
I'm going to be somebody who tries to straighten out somebody who's totally confused and off base. And if they can handle that, then yeah, maybe we'd be friends. But I'm not going to sit there and pander.
Why are you looking at me?
Because I'm looking into the camera. Boy, you're in a contentious mood today. I thought I was ticked, but I guess you're really
I look like I'm ticked.
So,
do I really look like I'm ticked? I was just talking.
No,
about
you sound like it, man. It's like, I'm ticked. I mean, the things going on this week have me.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they have me fired up. We can have a few laughs along the way, and I got some stuff in here that's kind of funny. But I tell you,
you're going to be funny.
No, I didn't say I was going to.
Wow. Diss me on any joke I try to do. You
well, if you
in the middle of the joke, and you're going to be funny.
If you do a joke, Dave,
will let you do that without me coming at you.
If you do a joke, I'll go ahead and go along with it. Those things that you do, I wouldn't know if I qualify those as jokes, but okay.
God!
Since you picked on me, it's my turn.
Go ahead.
We can have a few laughs about some of the absurdities of the week, like that whole Blue Origin thing. It was ridiculous. These people,
the space flight for these so-called stars.
The flight for the space cases, yeah. Okay, I was involved in aerospace. I was a big space geek the whole time growing up, and so I can cite you more facts and information about the real space program. If you'd like, I can spend all day on that.
By the way, they insist on being called astronauts.
Yeah, that's just. Think about the fact that the people calling them astronauts called Yasser Arafat a Nobel Peace Prize winner. They call that guy, that 6'5" guy, they call him Leah Thomas and claim he's a girl, that he's the fastest woman swimmer. These are the people that just wallow in idiocy. Okay, so they take these 6 women, and by the way, you notice how they all of a sudden they notice what a woman is when they stick these 6 women in the space capsule.
Yeah.
Okay, they send them up. They literally flew barely faster than a fighter jet. Okay. And so they lob them up and they come down 11 minutes. It was nothing more than a human cannonball act at the circus, just on a little bit bigger scale. They went up a little bit higher. And now they're astronauts and they have all these great, magnificent statements to make about the state of the world and the future of humanity and all this stuff. This is such a textbook case in shameless leftist grandstanding. These people come out and they are just the paragons of what humanity needs to know to go forward properly. They're a bunch of lefty, you want to call them Hollywood. Well, I won't say that. Okay, anyway, but we are not talking people with a collective IQ of 60 among a lot of them. We're not talking about anything but, in some people's opinion, pretty faces and whatever. And yet they're going to be paraded in front of us as some sort of iconic movement for the future of humanity. It's a joke.
Did you actually watch this?
I watched. I didn't watch it live. I watched it after the fact. Okay. So I thought, I need to sit through this whole thing.
Turn that damn thing off.
Yeah, exactly.
Once you saw what the content was.
I only did it out of my devotion to the Dave Weinbaum show, so I can come here and say, yeah, For the sake of the rest of you people, I suffered through this. Okay, it was a joke.
Oh, so I should be thanking you for doing that, right?
Absolutely, it was a
It's like
sacrifice I made.
I
But
thank you for being so cognitive of any liberal you may find.
But here's the thing, Dave.
You're so
These
considerate.
these people, it was a stunt. Okay, and we have got to understand that this is an iconic representation of everything they do. Okay, when the leftists, they have a pro-environment rally on the mall in DC, they all get out there. The speakers fly in their private jets with their carbon footprints, and they get up there and they all grandstand about how great they are. And when the place clears out, it's just a trash heap because of all the littering. It's everything that they claim to be for, protecting the planet and all that.
You forgot to mention that these people then they'll be challenging you to keep your get these electric cars.
Oh yeah, you and I have to live like third world peasants in order to accommodate them.
And they're going back and forth on first class on their own plane. One person or two people in there.
Which emphasizes one of the
helping you right now.
You're good. That's the whole reason I show up here. You're good. In between all these terrible things you say about me being friends with Liz Cheney, you get it right usually. But these are the people that this moral grandstanding. This is how these people define themselves. And what we see in this is, I go back to my book where these leftists never truly care about any cause they claim to champion. Okay. And what you just mentioned about them trashing the place and then flying the private jets and all that, what we talked about, that's a perfect example. Let's go to another example this week. And this is one of those that just has me really, really boiling. Okay. And I'm going to ask you to give me the time to give the big picture on this, because I haven't heard the big picture actually being shared on this. And this is this whole ruckus with every Democrat that can get in front of a camera and get on a plane is going to go down there and rescue this gang monster. He's the lowest of the low.
Diego Garcia.
Yeah, and they're all, these people are all looking out for this guy, right? Okay. Now, these are the people that will tell you in the next breath that they care about women. Look what happened. Look what this guy did to this woman. Look how much they care about her. The truth is, what I always say, what I always remind people is leftists, they'll take any cause and they'll grab onto it if they think they can benefit from it politically, and they'll abandon it the moment they think that they have something better. Here, these are the people that when it comes to getting women to kill their babies in the abortion clinic, these people are pro-women, pro-women, pro-women. When it comes to this monster murdering this woman in the most hideous fashion, all of a sudden they see more political gain by rallying around this guy. They don't care about her. You think that Democrat Senator Van Hollen that went down to El Salvador, you think he cares about her? Did he call her mother to share his condolences with her? Nothing. No, he sees this opportunity to grandstand, and she can just go pound sand as far as he's concerned. Okay, this is leftist moralizing. It is always hypocritical. It's always situational, and it's always only about them advancing their political agenda.
But this doesn't advance anything other than their negativeness, because
yes, it does.
97% of the people that were the people want this. They want the illegal aliens out. They want the illegal alien criminals out first.
Let me give you the big picture, Dave. And this is what I was telling you. This is the thing that our side has yet to address this week. And it's happening first on your show. And you got me to thank for this.
Okay, Picasso, let's go. The big picture.
So the big picture on this is that what is the debate about when Trump came in and secure the border and all of that, get these illegals out of the country, right? Yeah. Okay, now, if we were to actually do that, if we were to actually get the illegals out of the country, clean up the voter rolls, Democrats would never win another election ever in history. Okay, going forward. Okay, so here's what they did.
It's the other way around. Or could be the other way around. I'm not sure that.
Okay, but here's the game that they're playing.
Guess what?
And if they can win this battle, if they can get this, prove that this guy has an inherent right to come back here and be treated as an American with rights, hear me out, with all of these privileges and rights. Why? Because he illegally breached the border. If they can prove it with the worst of the worst, then every other illegal in the country is suddenly validated. Because if he has an inherent right to be here, so do all 30 plus million of them. Okay, now the Democrats have their voting base. Okay, and this is
not
a game.
only that, they'll take them 100 years to try each individual.
Why bother? This guy is a hero all of a sudden because he illegally invaded the country and murdered an American. Now, you're right that it's a losing proposition as far as we the people go, but you think that's the way they're going to portray it? I mean, listen to all the sanctimony, all the shameless, disgusting sanctimony with which these people, Van Hollen and the rest of them, are all rallying around this poor guy whose rights got infringed on by the mean old President Trump and those evil conservatives. Okay, I mean the sanctimony with which these people will reinvent any case to put themselves in the moral high ground. We sit back and we're stunned by it. Can these people be that crazy? It's a game. They're playing a game. The goal is if he can be validated as having inherent constitutional rights simply because he illegally crossed the border, all of a sudden, all of those people, we can't question any of them because none of them are as bad as he is. They're all better than he is. So if he's legitimate, they're all legitimate. And next thing you know, they all have the right to vote because we can't deny them their constitutional rights.
Right,
this is the big game. This is their big game.
I don't know why I'm complimenting you, though. That's well said.
Because we're on the same team, even though you're kind of grouchy this week.
We are, even though you give me more crap than I give you anytime.
Oh my gosh, is the lightning going to strike?
Let's talk about Trump and the speech, the State of the Union speech, where he says, it doesn't matter what I say. I've discovered this over the years that they all hate me. And they're not going to applaud anything in this room that has anything to do with me. So I'll just give it and see what happens. And sure enough, they're holding up signs that say, this is a lie, this is that, this is this. Yeah. And he has this black kid, this black 15-year-old who has had brain cancer. And he is sick from that. He doesn't have all his things going for him. He's a little bit marginalized, and yet he got him a Secret Service badge. And the Democrats, what did they do? Nothing.
They attacked him.
Yeah, it's crickets. You'd think they'd stand up and honor the kid,
right?
All right, and his father there, and nothing.
Remember the premise I told you a few minutes ago. Leftists never care about any person or any cause they claim to champion.
Everyone else cares about that. You care about that. I care about that. And so do probably at least 150 million people care about that.
It was the decent thing to do to give the kid a thumbs up.
We've come a long way from Trump being this jerk guy that the Democrats got away with for a long time during his first inauguration and presidency, and now we've had to seen the other side to its extreme under Biden, and now we get it. Most people now get it, not all, but most people get it, and that's how Trump won by a margin that was very high, all the swing states. And also,
here's the question, though:
5 or 6 million more than actually it was counted.
Yeah, and here's the question now: will our side at this point muster the spine to stand with President Trump with what he says and not try to water things down in order to we're going to try and if we say it delicately enough, maybe the left will agree with us. No, we've got to call it out for what it is. We got to call them out for what they are. Your example you just gave, the way they treated this kid, these people are despicable. Okay, the people that vote for them vote for a despicable candidate. Okay, we have got to make this case. We've got to do it so the American people hear it from us, because the American people are not going to hear it from ABC, CBS, and NBC and all the other little cable channels. Okay, so what the left is counting on, and going right back to this MS-13 monster that they're all, if they make him look like a hero, you're going to start hearing the spineless Republicans go, well, he's a bad guy, but. And at that point, you validate the leftist stance on him. He's a bad guy, but Trump shouldn't have this or Trump shouldn't have that. Before long, We're doing things on their terms. This is the game they play.
No,
And
I agree. I agree.
Until
I
our
agree.
side.
But how do you deal with a guy like Bill Mayer going in there? Okay, now this guy he's a liberal, but yet he goes in to the Trump house, to the White House, and Trump is kind of cordial to him.
Trump is not an uncordial guy.
I know that. I know that. And he used to be one of the liberals. Remember that too.
Same thing with Elon Musk. Yeah. And now how do you deal with the Bill Mayers? Here's how you deal with them is, okay, what you said sounded nice. Now let's watch and see what you actually do. And I'll give you another example, a very similar example.
Well, he criticized Trump. He criticized Trump to his face, and Trump listened to him.
Right. So Bill Mayer, are you Mr. Reasonable? No. Let's look at what you actually say the rest of the time.
Of course,
Jeff Zuckerberg.
He was going there to talk to Trump and get a tour of the White House, and Trump wasn't there to disintegrate him or whatever. He made him sign a piece of paper. He didn't make him, but he says, sign this piece of paper. It had 60 individual insults that Donald Trump had for Bill Mayer. And what does he do? He signs it. He gives it to him. Okay. Now that's overwhelmingly nice, and yet Trump doesn't have to change his vision of what the country ought to be because of him.
No, but there is a negative effect that they use. It's, the death by 1,000 cuts. If these people can go in there and they can look nice, they can look reasonable, and they come out looking nice, little by little, they start having this persona of being the reasonable ones. Meanwhile, you have their cohorts, and at the right time, you have them themselves calling out Trump as being the monster. Before long, they're reasonable. He's a bad guy. This is their end game. Zuckerberg. Let's talk about Jeff Zuckerberg. Yeah. Okay, he did the same thing. Right?
Hard to trust him.
No, you can't trust him any more than Bill Mayer or the rest of them. Yeah. What you need to do, forget the platitudes that they offer when they're trying to look nice. Let's look at what they really do. Okay. Is Zuckerberg still doing all of the suppression of conservatives on Facebook? You're darn right he is. Okay. Are they still promoting a leftist agenda? Yes, they are. When you have these people that they're claiming to be, okay, we can get along, we can be friends, but then they turn right around and they support the Liz Cheneys and the Mitt Romneys. No, you know where their hearts are really at. And let me give you a great example of that. And I don't know if you were going to talk about her, but I'm going to jump over here. We have Rhino traitor Lisa Murkowski, and we can go through her history of who and what she's been over the years. And the fact that she keeps getting elected is just proof that big money can come in from out of state and buy elections in states like Alaska, where the locals don't have that kind of money to win an election. Okay, Murkowski, this week, you know what she says? She says she and her fellow Rhino traitors or fellow leftists, whatever they are, but she and her kind, they're afraid. They're afraid for themselves because of what? Because Trump is going to take these people out. Who was it that tried to take people out in the last year? We saw how many assassination attempts against Trump, but Murkowski is going to say she's afraid. You see how they claw their way onto that phony moral high ground in every situation.
And the elections up there are tampered or fixed one way or the other. They're not legit.
She's afraid of an honest election is what it is.
Now I got to give you credit. You have done a lot for Wyoming, where somehow the FBI put you in Wyoming. I
don't start in with that FBI stuff.
I don't understand it completely, but you are
there. He goes.
You are Sicilian.
There you go again.
How do you put that together? All of a sudden, this guy goes. He's in Wyoming, and nobody knows where he's at, and he's eating pizza and all that other crap.
I'm telling you, the best pizza you'll ever have. If you try it and you don't agree with me, I'm paying the bill. Mondello's in Cheyenne, Wyoming makes the best pizza you'll ever have. You go there, ask for Joe's favorite
pasta from Sicily.
Pay attention. Joe's favorite with extra basil. And if it's not the best, the best pizza you've ever had,
I like that stuff.
Bill. So next time you go to Cheyenne, you can tell him
He doesn't ship, does he? Does he ship out stuff?
No, I don't think so. But
he needs to get some Jew to tell him how to do that.
There you go.
Anyhow, the one thing, let's talk a little bit about females again, because here we go. Title IX. They actually are standing up in several states, including Minnesota, by the way, with your friend of Kamala's,
Tim Walz.
Yeah, Tampon Tim, yeah. And he's
Illinois is doing it also.
Yeah, I know, but let's talk about Title IX now. Trump is starting to take money away from these people, including Maine, maybe Minnesota, and all these people that insist on putting male athletes in with these young women who have, their own concepts of playing basketball
or just being safe in a locker room. I mean,
being safe in a locker room, even a volleyball team. You could kill a person with a volleyball.
When you look at Riley Gaines, who God bless her, was when she was in that swing match against that pathetic guy that calls himself Leah Thomas. And they, everybody was just applauding him for winning. And what they did was these were leftists spitting in the face of women.
Bingo.
And
that's
at this
exactly
point,
right. And everybody knows that. They're so stupid. Why are they for that?
But you listen to it's so much worse than that, Dave. If you listen to what happened to these women swimmers, they're in the locker room, and if they don't stay in that locker room while that guy comes in there, and if they don't change in front of that guy, then they're bigots, they're transphobes, and they're the bad person, and he's the victim. Okay, this is the leftist mentality. This is how they invert morality in every situation so they can be on their phony moral high ground.
I have a story about Riley. You know what? I sent her some money, and a couple weeks later, I got a big bottle of honey. So, isn't that right, honey?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. I got honey here, and I got honey there. So
let's go back to women's sports in the first place. How women's sports came about. Women's sports came about because your feminists wanted to have a venue where women could be spotlighted for their own achievements. Okay,
and when you say feminist, that's a good thing, right?
I'm not saying it was a bad thing, but the point is that they said
people don't know sometimes when those feminists.
Well, that's because feminists they're proving that what their real goal was just to get in and muck things up. Okay, but we had women's sports. The idea of women's sports is they can compete with each other. Okay, so all of a sudden now these same feminists are saying the right thing to do is to put men into women's sports if that man identifies as a woman. Okay, so did these feminists actually ever really care about women? No, what they were trying to do is muck things up and make an image for themselves.
But if they can't, you're saying two different things, though. You're saying that these.
I'm saying that they're hypocrites. I'm absolutely saying that they're hypocrites.
Came in and did this as a woman-only thing, and then they changed to having men.
The moment it's more politically expedient to betray all those women, they're doing that. Okay.
Why is it more? What are they getting out of this?
Because they are attacking. They are attacking in every situation. They're going to attack traditional America. Okay, they're going to get up on their moral high ground and attack traditional America. If they do it by champion women, okay, women's sports, which is not a bad thing, and I'm not saying it is, but in the next breath, it's women going to abortion clinics so they can be liberated from babies. Okay,
Here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that, and it ought to be called on them every single time. Here it is. Hold on. What are those babies? What is their genders as they are born or aborted? They're half women and they're half men.
Yep.
They're baby boys and baby girls.
Baby boys and baby girls, absolutely.
Girls get executed at the same rate as baby boys. They're executing their own kind.
But it's more expedient to do that, to wreck the family, to undermine these things, to promote an evil agenda. It's more expedient to do that. They don't care about those women. They don't care about the mothers, because the suicide rate among women who've had abortions is 6 times the national average. They don't care about those women. The women that get abused by these men in their locker rooms, they don't care about those women.
There's also a lot of money involved somehow. I don't know who supports this. It's 0.03 of the population. Who's supporting this and why?
The segment that supports it supports every anti-Judeo-Christian principle on which the country was founded, because that's the way to wreck the country, and that's their goal. It's just that simple.
All right. Well, other than DaveWeinbaum.net, you know what? I had stuff from. Look at this. This is how many things I got to say that I had prep for.
Well, let's go. We still got a few minutes. I can talk fast.
Okay. All right. You know who I got up next?
Who's that?
This is Judyth Vary Baker. Lee Harvey Oswald's girlfriend.
Oh, no kidding.
No kidding. This should be really interesting. And she's real smart, this gal. She's 82 years old. She's real smart. I got her on next, and this could be something. I hope I can cope with this. Because half the people hate her, and half the people love her. She's written a book, Me and Lee, and obviously she knows a lot about the Kennedy assassination.
Oh, a lot more than they want you to know, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, and she's been threatened a few times, and but it's been a while, so we'll see. Oh, okay, let's do it. Yeah. All right, we got to go.
Okay. It's me. I'm Judyth.
Hi, Judyth. Hey, I'm just getting
Hi, Judyth.
last guest off. His name is Chris Adamo, and I'm going to get with you in a second. And
Okay.
you know,
I have to say though, I said put friend down and everything. I had a heck of a time finding you till now because I have many emails, but it's all right. I found you.
You're sorry you found me? I think that was very nice.
It's all right. I found you.
Okay. Well, I had trouble finding your phone number yesterday. I apologize for that. Let me get rid of this gentleman.
Oh wow. Okay. I know when I'm not wanted.
About 40 minutes yesterday.
I know. I couldn't find your number. I know, it was terrible. So by the way, where can people find you and buy your book? This guy has a book too.
Wait.
I'm talking to him first. I'll get right to you, honest.
Okay, goodbye.
No, don't say goodbye.
I need to.
Okay, I'm going to get out of here. You guys, it sounds like you're going to have a really good time. Go for it, Dave. Go for it, Judith. There's my book available at Amazon. God bless. Bye-bye.
All right, God bless.
Okay,
thanks.
Okay,
hold on. No, you sending her the link?
Well,
yeah,
Judith, Judith, we sent you a link through email and also one to your Facebook and your Twitter account yesterday.
No, all right. I don't use the Facebook, but I'm telling you the link. I was looking under friend, then I found it under DW. I mean, I get a couple hundred emails a day.
Okay.
So, if you would just resend it right now.
Okay, we'll resend it to you. And hopefully, nice to hear from you. If not, doesn't work, we'll do it by phone. Okay?
No, it's fine.
All right.
It's fine.
We'll send it to you right now. Here it's coming.
Thank you.
It's
Okay,
coming. Bye-bye. Okay. This is going to be fun. Okay. Jeez.
All right. So let me.
Oh, my goodness. This is going to be fun. Okay. Anyways, we're having a problem with the Chinese government here, and I think that ought to be addressed somehow. For example, small Chinese lumberjack chopstick. And if you don't get a tariff deal, he's not going to be even able to chop a stick. Okay. Why can't Caucasians have a Chinese baby? Because two whites don't make a Wong. Why aren't there phone books in China? Because they're all the Wong number.
I guess that one.
You like that one? Okay, and that's all my little Chinese jokes for now, and I'm sure I'll be very popular when Z brings it up to Trump saying, "Why he say that?"
Well, and the link has been resent, so we'll see if she.
I'm not brined.
He gets it here.
I'm not brined. No brined. That's what he's saying. So, okay, and you sent it. Here we go. Another adventure of the Dave Weinbaum Show.
If not, we'll just do it by phone. And we can.
Yeah, exactly. Well, she's either going to call or she's going to show up. Do we play? Do we have the song for that?
I don't have the Jeopardy thing.
I think we ought to do that. You know what? I used to do that in meetings when I had a voting issue. I would play that song.
Good way to get attention.
Well, it was funny. They all laughed, and it was a couple minutes, and then I say, "Okay, we're done. Let's move on." Yep. So I'm having too much fun today. Why is that? I don't know why. I feel good. Maybe it's my wife, and my diet is slowly changing around. I'm not eating as much. Maybe she was. Oh, there. I see something flicker. I saw a flicker. There she is. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe she's there. All right. Can you hear me?
Of course. Can you hear me?
My God, you got reddish. Is that red hair or orange hair?
I'm sorry about that. It's something in the camera that does that. My hair is actually more brown than this. It's just
is it really? Well, you're looking good. You're looking good. Let me introduce you. This woman. This woman wears so many hats, she has no time to hang her head. Let's start with your book. Me and Lee. You were the girlfriend of Lee Harvey Oswald. How did you guys meet? Tell me about that.
How much time do we have first?
You got at least a half an hour if you want it. Okay.
Okay. All right. That's slightly less than I need, but we'll do what I can.
Just okay. Go for it,
Okay. Basically, Lee Harvey Oswald, who by the way, went off with great fanfare to the USSR front page news, said he would shoot anybody he saw, U.S. Army or uniform or anything like that. Yeah. That he was renouncing his citizenship, height of the Cold War. Okay, comes back just a few months before the Cuban Missile Crisis, and we have all this going on. You can't get more serious about USSR. He arrives in the United States after 30 months over there with a Russian wife and child, and nobody's there to greet him in Fort Worth. And he is rejoicing. Why? Not because he should have been arrested, but because he knows the CIA is still going to use him some more. So it's like nobody ever knew he came back. And now they are using him, he pretends to be pro-Castro, pro-communist, everything, walking around a free man. And I have been specially trained. I'm joining a team without understanding really what was going on, having been specially trained to make cancer more deadly. I had a special formula with me called today it's called the RPMI 1640. We were at that point at RMPI 340 or something. All right. But I had helped to make that formula the best in the world in Dr. George Moore's own private lab at Roswell Institute. Anyway, I was trained for almost 2 years, especially how to handle anything from germ-free mice, which I already knew how to do, to all sorts of cancer.
This was before you met Lee.
Yeah, all right. I'm trying to condense because we only have a few minutes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So I'm just doing this preamble here. Okay. All right. So I have a special formula. I am also able to do what's called gain of function. We just learned the principle, and the New Orleans project is the first place where it was actually being conducted. That is, you take a virus and you inoculate animals, for example, with it. In this case, causing cancer. You select the ones with the biggest tumors in the right places, sacrifice them, radiate those tumors, take out and put them in test tubes. The ones that grow the fastest, you inoculate those into mice. And again, you do this over and over again. It takes only about a week in 7 days, which I had also done myself, these animals are getting cancer. By the end of 2 weeks, they're on a baby mouse. These tumors are as big as their bodies. Now imagine this is going on for a year, what kind of cancer you have. And they're trying to transfer it now to monkeys and from monkeys to humans. That's when I was brought in. All right. Now we're trying to kill Castro. I finally found that out, and it was shocking to me. But on the other hand, it's like today trying to kill Putin or Zelensky. If you're on the other side, Zelensky, we were told, oh, this is going to save us from World War III. I believed my doctors. I believed the scientists. Yeah, I fell for it because this is the CIA, and they lie. They lie like some people will lie for the Lord, you know.
They lie like the rug. They lie.
Yeah,
like
that's right. Lie like a rug. So I was pulled in hook, line, and sinker. I'm only 19 years old now, but I know more than I've got the formula. I've got all this other. So, and I come in more than 2 weeks early. Okay, because our university got out. We went to the trimester system. My doctors didn't know that. So when I arrived, because I decided I'm going to go straight to New Orleans. It's going to be wonderful. They're going to meet me with state dinners. And, you know, I'm going to, oh, yeah, they treated me like a queen. But remember, I had no time since I was age 15 to myself. I was being handled because after Sputnik, the CIA went all over the United States and picked out the most promising young people interested in science whose IQ was over 150. All right, mine was 160, so I qualified. My family already had top secret, or not type, I don't know what was top secret. We had security clearance anyway, because of what my father was doing, like in rocketry and so on for Bendix Corporation, Raytheon, and so on. So, but I was not getting along with my parents for good reason. And it's all in my book called Lee Harvey Oswald and Me, and also the book Me and Lee, but that one's 10 years old. Go to Lee Harvey Oswald and Me and go to eBay. That's the easiest way to get it. Anyway, on to the story. So I arrive in New Orleans. The doctors aren't there. And I have very little money because I'm between semesters. So I opt at the WCA, waiting for my doctors to come back to go into a cheap room, which happens to have 4 women in it. Well, girls. 2 of them are strippers. One's a Playboy Bunny trainee, and the other is a really profane waitress. But wait a minute, I'm free for the first time.
Hey, this sounds like a sitcom.
15. Free.
You can make a comedy out of this.
Well, it's hilarious because they took me to the underground of New Orleans. I mean, oh gosh, I went to the back. I mean, police are raiding these places,
So
and I get to see what the strip joints are like.
Did you meet Jack Ruby?
Well, of course I did, but that was later. I certainly did. But by the way, the strippers said they loved Jack Ruby because he always paid for their abortions and gave them penicillin for their sexual diseases. Now, this coming to me, I mean, I had been so sheltered. All that kind of talk was like I was on another planet. Now, but wait a minute. I'm an asset. I've been heavily trained. I haven't had a day to myself since I was age 15 when I got my own lab and so on. All right. Now I'm in New Orleans. My doctors say not here. But what do you do? We've got a highly trained asset, and you need her. And the project's going to start. That part she's involved in just about 10 or 11 days, and she's running loose. Well, you don't send a dirty old man to say, hey, or some old doctor and say, hey, you can't go out with these girls or anything like that. Now, I had a fiance that was, maybe if he came, we'd marry, maybe not. It was like that. Yeah. And so I went to the post office every morning to see if he wrote to me after working only a couple hours at a fast food hamburger joint, like it was called Royal Castle. Why am I there? Because I need a couple dollars to pay the YWCA because they had no record that I was even coming yet for another couple of weeks. So I had to lay out some money. All right. So they send, it turns out,
Lee Harvey Oswald. Now, who is Oswald? He pretends to be pro-Castro. He pretends to be on the side of the communists. He's there to protect the project because Castro's sending his spies to New Orleans, and Castro's trying to find out where are all these people being trained that come against me. He knows they're coming mainly from Guatemala, but it turns out they're being trained in New Orleans, way out in the boondocks, where the swamps are in Louisiana near Pontchartrain. He's trying to infiltrate that. And on top of that, he knows, because they've already tried a number of times to kill him, that certain activity is going in there in New Orleans, activity having to do with medical materials and so on, that they're trying to kill him. So he is trying to hunt up this ring of labs that has been created by Dr. Alton Oxner and by oil men and the CIA and even to some extent the FBI, but even the mafia knows about it because the mafia also wants Cuba back. So it is a hotbed of intrigue. And Lee Oswald shows up to make sure I don't get in any more trouble and don't get raped or some awful thing could have happened to me. All right. And he has to watch over me for about a couple of weeks. By the time he's finished extricating me from all kinds of difficulties and things I got myself into, like a police raid that turned out where I had been placed, I'll put it this way, was actually a real fancy, gorgeous, I have photographs in my book, and I've even talked to the owner with people present. That place had been converted into a high-class bordello. And the police came and raided. I was thrown into the streets. Now, if it weren't for Lee Oswald, who said, call me if there's a problem. Boy, I had a problem at 1 o'clock in the morning on St. Charles Street, standing there with all my possessions. And the police are hauling off these naked women clothed only in feathers and handcuffs. And they realize I'm not one of them. But where am I going to go at 1 o'clock in the morning? I mean, I was really desperate. So get that all in your head about that Lee Oswald was there to save me from real bad circumstances. We had about 2 weeks together. His marriage is in pitiful condition. He just got his wife pregnant, so she'd have an anchor baby so he can divorce her and she won't be deported. And as for me, will my fiance show up? Well, if he does, I want birth control pills, so we'll marry, but that piece of paper means nothing to us. I thought I was in love with Robert Baker, but I was actually in love with sex. And I'm an atheist. Later,
Wow.
I'm like, oh, yeah.
This is like a month's worth of stuff.
All right, so that's how it begins. All right, that's how it begins.
That's how it begins. Wow. Keep it going.
Well, you have a number of people who have shown up. They will, like James Files, who says that he made the kill shot against JFK.
Really?
And you have others, but you know what? They don't have witnesses.
Yeah.
Well, because of all the shenanigans I did and all that, I have witnesses. I have them from the mafia. I have them from two of them from the mafia. Both are dead now, but they're on film and all that, saying, yeah, they saw me with Lee Oswald. And one of them, Anna Lewis, she's another one. She's connected with Guy Bannister. Who is that? Well, in the film JFK, you can see somebody is pistol whipping somebody else. That guy pistol whipping the other guy. He's Guy Bannister, and he looms big in the Kennedy assassination. You'd never know it because the Warren Commission didn't even interview that guy. Well, they didn't interview me either. They, in fact, trying to find anybody they interviewed in New Orleans. Basically, they got a whole bunch of people said, oh, here's one interview after another. And the FBI says, gee, they never met Lee Oswald. They can't find anybody. Don't believe it. They just don't go after it. So anyway, yes, I've got my witnesses. And I have even more than that. I saved documents. I thought we were heroes. After we killed Castro, stopped World War III, I thought of myself as being some kind of patriotic hero. Little did I know that all the documents I saved would help prove that Lee Oswald was the real hero and he was murdered because he actually tried by joining an abort team to save Kennedy's life. Now, one of the slight.
So you have a lot of people that are backing you too. Are you there? Oh, I think she froze. You're frozen. Oh my God! I hope the CIA's not there. Somehow you froze. I'm not getting you now. Wow, that's a little scary.
Yeah, we lost connection there. It looks like.
All right.
I'll have to probably remove her out of
All
here.
right, remove her and send it back, I guess.
The link's still good, so if she re-clicks on it, but yeah.
Oh, that's a little scary right there. You know?
We were just getting to the good stuff, too.
My gosh.
Wow.
So does she still have the link?
Yeah. I mean, it's in her email. The link's still good, so she can rejoin. Yep.
What a story. I'll tell you what, I knew I was talking to somebody that was very intelligent, but 160? God, that's like I'm only 150 or 155.
When I last tested, I was 145, so I'm not too far. But
is that true?
No, I've never had my IQ tested.
You don't know your IQ.
I just made it up.
Exactly.
So now I know my IQ.
I know you think.
What the hell is this?
It's a lid to my container.
Oh, excuse me.
It's called bamboo.
Bamboo?
Oh, she's calling.
Oh, good. All right. Hi there.
Hi. Unfortunately, this happens all the time. StreamYard, I get kicked off if I mention certain keywords. All of a sudden, I'm not there anymore. Okay. So I'm trying to get back on, but I can talk to you like this.
Yeah, that's fine. That's great. I'm telling you, I get a little scared about that something might have happened. Apparently it did.
No, yeah, well, it does. I've been attacked over the 22 years I've been speaking out. This is so frequent with StreamYard and with Zoom. They just bust it up, and it doesn't happen on X. I can be on Spaces there, and everything's fine. But otherwise, here I'm going to be on in just a minute.
By the way, I follow you on X.
At Judyth. That's it. At Judyth.
I've already followed you. I follow you on X.
I saw you.
Oh, and you're coming back on. You're coming back on now. All right. When you're back on.
Right.
All right. There you are. You see, all right. I see you. Okay. So you were talking about all these things. What's the time frame on this? Is this like the early 60s, right?
Well, all right. We're looking at, remember, the Bay of Pigs happened in 1961. It is now 1963, 6 months after the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Right.
So we just can't get more involved with the Cold
War.
And
what stopped you from killing, or him from killing Castro? It was a hurricane, wasn't it?
Well, exactly right. Hurricane Flora came through. That's their excuse. But let me tell you, all that happened. Looks like they never did really intend to have this get into Cuban hands, this biological weapon. But what they were really doing is making sure they had to have it. Don't get me wrong, they still had the weapon and they still use it. Castro actually died, of lung cancer. So did Chavez, and we believe it is from this. We got it to him many years later,
Castro lived to be like 90, didn't he?
What?
Castro lived a long time.
He survived over 600 attempts by the U.S. government to kill him.
Wow.
He had very devoted followers. Well, we had a very sophisticated setup because remember, although you may have dedicated doctors, remember, if you go to a doctor and he says, look, you need a penicillin shot, does a doctor know where the penicillin comes from that is in the refrigerator?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Thank you.
Well,
keep talking. My wife's here. Keep talking.
All right. Or if you need an x-ray, the idea was to have a different label, slap a different label on by a tech. It could be in the middle of the night. and you get the x-ray and it turns out you're being flooded with x-ray at the point that you'll be very, very ill and your immune system will be shot. And then you peel the label off and nobody knows.
All right, you got time for a little tune? Because we talked about ivermectin. I want a little humor in here. You'll be back. Don't worry, but do ivermectin, the song. All right? We're going to do a little song for you. Yes, because we're going to do that. It's fun. We got to have a little fun. Ivermectin. I take it by the pill. Ivermectin. The pandemic, it will chill. Ivermectin. I let it take its course. Ivermectin. Now I'm neighing like a horse.
Yeah, well.
And she left.
Better to neigh like a horse.
It was kind of funny, wasn't it? Oh, never mind. Okay, keep going. This is good.
Just say better to neigh like a horse than to be buried 6 feet under.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no, of course it works. That's why it's so suppressed. It's not being suppressed anymore. You know what really disturbs me, Dave?
Yeah.
I've been looking on the other side. That is the media side that is very disappointed that Trump is still alive.
Yeah.
That who used to cheer on Elon Musk, and now they wish he was dead too.
Yeah.
All this stuff going on. But I can't even recognize what's really going on in Washington from what they're reporting. It's completely stuffed with exaggerations, lies. Now, I'm not saying Trump is a perfect person or anything like that, but I cannot recognize the person that they're describing, either one of them. They don't exist. That's not real. And I, by the way, I'm awfully careful about things like this. I'm a survivor, and that hasn't been easy. I spent, for example, the last 13 years before being trapped in the United States by COVID, I spent 13 years moving every 90 days. That is for 13 years.
Dang.
Due to threats and being stalked, I had to wear wigs, costumes, you name it. And 30 days, 90 days in the EU in different countries, mostly Sweden, and 90 days anywhere else like Egypt, Turkey, Macedonia, and so on.
So you were there at those places too? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I've had to survive.
Yeah.
I've been hit by automobiles 3 times. I had to get an operation to save my left eye. Had my teeth knocked out. I'm still here, and I'm mad as a wet hen. Okay.
Good.
They'll do anything to try to stop the truth from coming out, and all sorts of lies. And in a way, it's sort of like
you have turned your life to Jesus, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It means everything to me because I didn't believe in. In fact, it took a while because long after 5 years after Lee was killed before my eyes, I'm finally going to have a baby with the man I was forced to stay married to. Remember, I only wanted to get birth control pills. I would stay with him for years because my maiden name of Vary, if it had gotten the papers, like through a divorce or something like that, they'd locate me and it'd be bye-bye Judyth,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I was.
Is that the CIA or other places? Do you have a lot of people?
The CIA and the FBI don't like each other very much, and that was in my favor because they wouldn't share information. By the way, they've released all kinds of documents this time in 2025, peripheral to the fact that they hardly released anything of value.
Yeah.
But they did release all the trouble and conflicts they're having with each other, so they're not sharing information, and that helped save my life. Because they're all, by the way, there are good people in the CIA and FBI.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they weren't running things. All right.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've been saying all along.
Oh no, it's true. But the good news is that we have we have good people on both sides who actually assisted me sometimes, so that I wouldn't be wiped out. And I'm really grateful to them. And like if I get kicked off, it's not by the good guys, okay? But I get kicked off, okay?
Yeah.
So we just hope and pray maybe it won't happen. But I'm going to say some trigger word and it's going to happen. That's the problem. I don't know what it'll be, but right when I'm saying something important, bam, it's likely to happen.
Yeah, well, it just happened, didn't it? Probably. I don't. You don't know that for sure now.
Oh no, I know. I spent the night. I want to tell you, Dave.
Yeah.
I had 2 big interviews today. I have a great big one this evening.
Yeah.
And
6:30. Yeah.
And so when we were trying to set that up last night.
Yeah.
Not only kicked off, I had several virus attacks. I was up till 4 a.m. clearing out my computer. Yeah, I had to reinstall almost everything, and I'm just praying that it works. So far, the setup is working, but I know this is very common. I even have people that are deeply associated with trying to keep me online because they understand what goes on. They don't do this against people like James Files. If he did an interview, let me explain. James Files supposedly shot at JFK and killed him. I want to tell you, he would have the problems I'm having if he was telling the truth.
Oh, so he's not telling the truth.
Well, I'll tell you why.
He was a mafia guy claiming that he was behind the bushes.
I'm sure he knew everything, my friend. But let me tell you something.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any witnesses. I have witnesses galore.
Yeah.
Because when Lee and I were seen together, it's because he became my protector, and then we fell in love. And then I was dressing up as Marina. Now, the Department of Defense person that came to me once and showed me files. They said, "Look at this. We had a photograph of you, only we thought it was Marina, his wife, because you were dressing like her and speaking Russian, which I knew how to do." And yet we knew we had photographs of Marina over in Irving, Texas. She hadn't left yet. So we're saying, which one is his wife? Because I had the same height, same color of hair, blue eyes, speaking Russian. And they were wondering who was the fake. Well, I was the fake. But by the way, they had me in a separate file. They didn't know what to do with me. When they finally found out who I was, they destroyed so much of this. I say some of the good guys did it, I think, to save my life. It wasn't all nefarious. But like, I can't get my own birth certificate.
Wow. Bad guys, what do you say about the Trump appointments to the FBI, to the DOJ, and the others?
Well,
and the CIA, by the way.
If you're listening to the legacy media, I should be dead. I mean,
I don't think these guys are with the legacy media. John Ratcliffe is not with the legacy media. I can't see that. Can you?
Of course not. The legacy media had 60 years, didn't they, to find out the answers?
Yeah.
All they did was pull out the good stuff so we couldn't see it.
Well,
Now, remember, they said they found 2,400 files. Remember?
Yeah. Where are they?
They didn't release them. But
Why
let me
not?
tell you the origin of those files. Back in 2000, 60 Minutes sent me to the National Archives. I'm a fast reader, speed reader. I went through files galore, and I copied a lot of the important ones. In 2003, I came back. By the way, 60 Minutes tried to put me on 3 times, could not do it. Finally, they forced CBS to issue me a check, and that check was for over $2,000. Why? They wanted to show that I was really credible, so I could forever show everybody that check from CBS. You do not issue checks like that to a fake or a fraud, okay? That was to establish my credibility, but they were stopped 3 times from filming me, and they never forgave CBS. It wasn't much longer after that they retired. Okay, that was Mike Wallace. You had Don Hewitt, who founded 60 Minutes, and then Phil Scheffler, his right-hand man. Those people defended me until, well, they died, of course, then. But the point is that, so then History Channel picks me up.
Yeah.
And then Nigel Turner in 2003, I'm sent back to the National Archives. I said, look, I know where to look. Well, I went back to those files, said I'll just go and pull a few more, and they're empty. And the folder says borrowed by the FBI. Now, I have some of these actual 2,400 files they so-called found. No, they borrowed these from the National Archives so nobody could see them, and they're sequestered them. And now they say they claim they found them. No, sir, they took them deliberately over the years since 2003. That was the 40th anniversary, and they pulled these. So I couldn't find them, but I had copies. I've got stuff they don't have. And you guys don't have access to anymore. But now,
Okay, I have a question.
well,
Who killed John F. Kennedy?
just 1 second. I'm almost finished with this because we have so little time.
Yeah, I know.
And so we're talking about, we've got files that I have. Now, History Channel has a problem because after being shown only 5 times, it was a 9-year contract until the 50th anniversary, okay, when they were going to film me again. What I'm saying is not going down well, all right? Lyndon Johnson family had a hissy fit, and we have people that they were associated with, plus Lady Bird herself, and we have Eisner of Disney, by the way, deep up to his neck, all right, in this stuff. And all these people got together and kicked us off. Now, wait a minute, they kicked me off all right.
Disney?
But that didn't work very well. They say, where's Baker? So what they did is published, it says, Judyth Vary Baker claims to have helped develop AIDS. That's why I had to flee overseas and live that way for basically over 20 years.
I thought that was Fauci.
Oh, yeah, Fauci was already involved.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, all the way back there. It stinks to high heaven. I'm alive, and all they can do now is kick me off. And of course, since I'm almost 82, they're not going to be able to. I won't be around that much longer. I've got to speak to Congress. I just have to.
If you want to hang out, I'm my next guy is coming in here. He's a state rep for the state of Missouri. His name is Hardwick. His first name is Bill Hardwick, and he's a ex-Army guy. He's an ex-Iraq platoon leader, and he's a sharp guy, really sharp. He's a good friend. If you want to stay, you can stay as long as he wants it. It's up to you. I know you're busy. Did it freeze? Yeah. Golly. I guess we're done.
I think she's right on here that either she's got really bad internet or somebody.
Well, I just asked the question.
Out here.
I just asked the question. Gee, who killed John F. Kennedy?
We never got an answer.
Wow, isn't that something?
That's all I was waiting to hear.
This is amazing.
The whole time.
This is just amazing. Now, is she on now? Or is that off? Oh, wait, she's coming back. Somebody's coming
she's
back.
on the phone.
Already. Sorry about that.
What happened there?
We're back on.
Oh, I got kicked off again.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we're back on.
I know. I asked that question. I don't think I should ask it again.
No, apparently not.
Apparently not. So, all right. Well, like I say, this guy's coming in. He's always a little late. And we can keep on talking as long as you can.
Well, I just want to say that Lee Oswald was one of ours. He pretended to be the enemy, and so they're able easily to betray him. They didn't care.
Why the CIA? You come to recognize all these people that are out and they kill their friends. It's like the mafia too. Sometimes.
Oh yeah.
They kill their friends. They kill people just because
some of these people are psychopaths. I mean, they get attracted to this. We have Angleton, one of Lee's handlers, when he was in the USSR. When Lee came back and got interviewed, got to see him face to face for the first time.
Yeah.
Angleton said to him, "I'm sorry that you didn't come back in a coffin." Because said, how can I trust you since you came back alive? I mean, you don't need that kind of handler.
That's his handler? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. My father had an opportunity to go into the Chicago. He's a liquor store owner on the south side of Chicago, and they wanted him to do their operations. They wanted him in charge of all the south side liquor stores. He told them, "No, I don't want to do that because some guy comes in and says, your bartender stole. You got to produce the money. So he says, I don't want to do that. But he did have a relationship with them.
The mafia was at that time actually working with the CIA and FBI. By the way, I did find a document, which I've posted on X at Judyth, Judyth, showing that the CIA and FBI didn't get along on things, but they were cooperating with the mafia, and they literally were using Lee Oswald, among others. CIA saying, "Oh no, we never had anything to do with him."
Sure.
FBI saying, "Oh no, we had never had anything to do with him," but he keeps popping up from people that were in either service, all right, either agency.
Well, how do they explain a whole basement full of cops?
Over 70.
And Ruby comes in, and they know he's a problem. They know he's in the mafia.
Oh no! The Dallas police are so corrupt. Now you know who was running them: Earl Cabell. Okay, now the mayor was a former chief of police, so they were all set to make sure they would not defend Lee Oswald.
Did Lyndon Johnson have something to do with that?
Earl Cabell, his brother is Charles Cabell, number 2 in the CIA, and his name is General Charles Cabell. Is Earl Cabell's brother, and he's number 2 in the CIA and got fired by Kennedy. Now, Earl Cabell has a chance to have Kennedy killed and blame it on a literal good guy that they have to get rid of because he knows too much.
So he was responsible for the planning or actual doing?
You're talking about Cabell.
Yeah.
Well, Cabell was working with his brother and with Allen Dulles. All right. Dulles had been fired. Remember in 1961, he was fired.
He was CIA too, right?
Dulles, head of the CIA, becomes part of the Warren Commission to tell everybody CIA had nothing to do with it. All right. Yeah, that's very convenient.
Amazing.
The other thing about Dulles is that he was fired in 1961, but in 1963, November, he still hasn't cleaned out his desk. He is still there, actually running things. It wasn't Colby or anybody else running the CIA. It really was still Dulles. And Kennedy had no way of knowing that because, of course, they hid that from him.
You know, the Kennedys were a little shaky too. The old man was in, and
that's right.
So what happened? Why did they get so pissed off at Kennedy?
Well, because the mafia had worked out a deal with old Joe. All right. Now, Joe used to be bootlegging and all that with the mafia, so he had close. And he promised, "Oh, look, my boys will be good to you. Just get Jack in there. I'll handle that." But then he got a stroke, and he couldn't even tell Jack what the deal was. Yeah. Meanwhile, Jack's brother has become attorney general, and they have a long history of pestering the mob, and they had tried to put them in jail before. So here, Bobby Kennedy goes and kidnaps Carlos Marcello, who is the kingfish, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Over everything. Dumps him over in Guatemala, where he claims he was born. He was actually born in Tunisia, okay, near Sicily. And boy, are they mad. They get back.
So they're really pissed at
Marcello wants to kill.
Really pissed at Kennedy.
Kill Bobby Kennedy. He said the only way you can really do that, we can't just cut off the tail. We have to cut off the head.
Yeah.
So the CIA hates him. FBI, Hoover hates Kennedy because Kennedy said, "I'm going to make sure you retire, you corrupt so-and-so." And they know that Hoover, everybody calls him behind the scenes, Mrs. Hoover. Okay.
Yeah.
His husband is Clyde Tolson.
Tell me what you know about Robert Kennedy Jr.
I know a lot. I'll tell you what, he's going to save millions of little kids from autism. Right. Oh, I know I'm right. Excuse me. That's something that is my specialty, are viruses, what's in those shots.
Yeah.
You knew that was all that was in those shots. And they actually got indemnity. They cannot be sued for what they put in. They put stuff in the shots. They're going to make huge response to the immune system. They don't care what it does to your brain. Your brain's going to swell up from all the stuff like aluminum in there, SV40 monkey virus, which is chopped up DNA. The body looks at that and goes, oh my God, I'm going to get cancer. It has this huge response, but that response is artificial. The body realizes finally that it has to finally get rid of that. When it does, what's left, then you have to get a booster shot. And that makes lots of money by doing that cycle.
Well, a booster shot makes it go back again, doesn't it?
Makes it come back again. Now, I'm stressing this to everybody. MMR, that's measles, mumps, and rubella. They put it in one shot. There's never one child that ever got mumps, measles, and rubella at the same time. We've had four kids die, I think, or 6 this year of measles.
Yeah.
But from the shots, the measles shots, we have hundreds who have died.
Yeah, but you don't hear about them.
Well, they're there. We have the statistics, but they're hidden because Big Pharma has a lot of money. They're after me for talking
All right,
like that.
let me introduce you to my next guest, but you are welcome to say you're in for a treat. All right, this is Bill Hardwick. Hardwick is a good friend of mine, and this is Judyth Vary Baker.
Hey, Judyth, how are you doing?
Do you ever hear of her?
Well, I am anxious to speak before Congress. There are 10 other of us who are living witnesses, and you guys have put 2 researchers up there who have never even so much as emailed us because they have their theories and their books to sell. And then you have Oliver Stone, who knows about me, and I've posted on X. He's got his arm around me, gives me a kiss. He knows darn well I exist, and the rest of us do. He's on record. But you know what?
Yeah.
Congress is only listening to Oliver Stone, Jim DiEugenio, all right, and the other one is Jefferson Morley. They have limited hangouts. They have their own theories, and they don't want people like us to be seen by Congress, all right, because they don't agree with everything that we know.
Well, maybe he can get you into the Congress here in Missouri.
Again,
state
we need to. Like Abraham Bolden isn't going to live that much longer.
Yeah.
So Jim Botello won't either. Who's Jim Botello? See, these are people you guys don't know a thing about. Jim Botello was Lee Oswald's Marine buddy at El Toro, all right, in California, Marine training base. And he's on record. We have him filmed and everything saying Lee Oswald was the best Marine buddy he ever had. All right. He became a judge later, by the way, Botello did. And he wrote down all the characteristics of Lee. And he said, I know he was being trained to be a spy.
All right.
You never hear about him. He's a living witness with Parkinson's, whose shaky handwriting says that Lee Harvey Oswald was one of the most wonderful, I'll put it this way, honest and trustworthy men that he knew. You're not going to hear that.
Listen, I want to put something on by him. He gave a little speech before the House the other day, and he sent it to me. And I want you to listen to this, okay? Because you might be very impressed by what he does. Hit it. She can't hear it. You can't hear it, right, Judyth? Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, he's you want to explain what you said, what you were saying to her, please?
What was going on? So we had a Amendment 3 debate, whether or not Amendment 3 is what put abortion in the Missouri Constitution, and took us from what we had was the first pro-life state to the state that, in my view and a lot of my colleagues' views, gives us abortion all on demand, unrestricted. And if people and the Democrats disagreed with that, well, they should look at the Jerry Zang ruling that struck down every restriction, medical restriction on abortion in the state. So there's restrictionless. So now our debate is whether or not we repeal that and replace it with something that is pro-life. And then the part of it I like lets the legislature make rules about admitting privileges, medical safety, things like that in the future. So I think that was the debate that we were having. I kind of just got it, and there was a time for me to speak and counter a few things and explain what I thought, which was some of the Democrats were saying, well, if your district voted for it, you should not vote to repeal it. And my district actually did. I have kind of one of the bluest areas in St. Robert and Waynesville and Fort Leonard Wood, the region.
Yeah.
And my district did vote for it, but I went around and I did debates. I did town halls. I put up no on 3 signs. Everywhere I went and I spoke and I said, if I get elected, I don't think there's anything more basic than saying that human life is important, is valuable. So I said, if I get elected, I'm always going to try to put life back in the Constitution. I thought it might cost me some support, but I won re-election in my seat. So my point there was like, well, if I said this is what I believe and I'm going to do, no matter what, if you don't like it, don't elect me. If you elect me, this is what I'll do. Yeah. When I get elected, I think.
What was the percent they re-voted you in?
71%.
Yeah.
Right. So I outperformed Donald Trump by, I don't know. I want to say he got like 65%, something like that.
Okay.
So I outperformed Trump pretty well.
Yeah.
Which that's a kind of a joke in the Capitol too. It's like where are the people who are like, I want Kamala Harris and radical conservative Bill Hardwick. Like, where's that group of people? But they're out there.
Yeah, there he is. All right. And this young lady's telling me a story like you cannot believe.
She was. Well, I have the receipts, my friends.
No, I know. And
the witnesses. And
it's incredible. You're telling us.
But they're not letting me speak, of course.
Yes, I know.
In fact, Elon Musk is the only one that he got my account back. And I finally have a voice in America. I've spent over 22 years overseas. As I say, the last 13 years, moving every 90 days to keep myself alive. And you hear all these people say, how come you're still alive? Not easy. So, not easy.
She was Lee Harvey's girlfriend.
Really?
Yeah. And she.
Well, I have the witnesses.
And she's got witnesses, and she knows what happened. Lee Harvey Oswald was a good guy. Do you believe that?
I don't know. I don't know.
He was a CIA guy who got assigned to actually kill Castro, and actually went to Russia based on them trying to set him up as a communist. Is that correct? She's frozen again?
Yep.
There you go. This happened three times. Three times. Okay. Somebody's listening. Do you believe that? And now she's.
There we go.
Are you back?
Very sorry. This is what happens if people try to interview me.
That's all right. This is you know what? People are looking at this and saying, "What the hell's going on?" Okay.
This is after working till 4:00 this morning because I got all these virus attacks and everything.
Yeah, right. So she's got another gig tonight at 6:30. And how did you get the viruses? You know?
Oh well, I posted something really good on X. Okay, and all of a sudden it kicked off. Okay, and I had this huge virus attack.
Amazing.
People know about this because long association I've had now. I have followers on it for 2 years. After I was freed, my account was opened by Elon Musk. God bless the man, because knowing what the hell he's gone through, you would not believe. I investigated him, by the way, in Austin for a year. I was working for an attorney who wanted me as their primary investigator in the Martin Luther King matter.
Yeah.
And I was able to do this on the side. Yeah, you would not believe the living hell that Elon Musk has been going through for more than you would believe.
Recently, or is this in the past too?
Oh my gosh, for a long time, you have rivals that did not want his company to succeed. But fortunately for us, he was able to get his business somehow has saved the car company until now. We have Molotov cocktails thrown at him because he's now on the wrong side. He should have a right to be wherever he wants. By the way, I saw where they're saying people like Musk, they're not paying their taxes. He paid last year and this year now more taxes than any living human being in history.
Yeah, I bet.
Country.
I'll bet. So
$8 billion, $10 billion.
Yeah. So my point is, you are finding people that you didn't have before that are willing to support you. When does the crap that you're going through go away?
I suppose not. I'm 82. So what's going to happen to me? I mean, all I'm doing is sharing with everybody there about how to help yourself get well if you've been hit with any of these shots.
Yeah.
The shots.
How do you get well with the?
Well, you need nattokinase if you've taken the shots. Nattokinase and bromelain. All right. You need all.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. You need to know how to save yourselves from the spike protein. By the way, I kept up with all the information. In fact, I broke information I regularly lecture doctors and nurses who are suffering from the effects of these shots.
They're suffering, the doctors and the nurses.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have nurses were forced to take the shots.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are coming down with cancer because of it.
Yeah.
It takes 5 to 8 years. It's a latent virus. The SV40 monkey virus is. Anyway, I've got all the stuff. I've got all the documents all the way. We can go all the way back to 63.
All right.
This material was
I want to dedicate the next couple of minutes to my friend over here, and I'm going to tell you I want you back.
All right. Well, take care.
You promised me you'll be back, okay?
Could you share my email address with your friend there? I would really appreciate it.
It's hold on. Why don't you?
There are 11 of us witnesses who are still alive. We had 20. We've got to speak to Congress, not researchers with their opinions, not a filmmaker who knows a lot, but is constrained in what he cannot say or his film would not succeed.
You talking about Oliver Stone?
Of course, a good man who could not tell everything, like the fact that Jack Ruby said, I've been injected with cancer cells.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, it's true.
Yeah. All right. So they killed him too. All right. Take care. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being on the show. Sorry you got cut off several times. Okay.
Well, I hope that people will go and get the book. You can get it at eBay. Lee Harvey Oswald and me. I'll show you what the book looks like.
Okay.
Because
I don't know if I like that side of you.
Because Amazon took the buy button off of it. It's on Amazon, except they took the buy button off. So you have to hunt and hunt. Not only do you have to hunt for the book, you have to hunt for there's no buy button. So you have to find other ways to buy it from Amazon. But you can buy it straight from eBay.
Very
difficulty.
Go on eBay, right? eBay to buy that book, right?
Yeah, this book here, this is a hardcover with all kinds of documents and witness statements and so on, and the whole story about me and Lee. Okay. I think the most interesting part here is Robert K. Tannenbaum wrote the foreword. He is one of our witnesses. He's from the HSCA, along with Robert Groden, another HSCA witness. That's the House Select Committee. They're still alive. And he endorses me, for heaven's sakes.
Cool.
And he's part of their risk committee.
Things are looking up for you.
All right.
Well, all right. I think we're getting a call from the CIA right now.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye. Thank you. Thank you. So let's hear it for Judyth. Vary Baker. Great job. Thank you. Okay, Bill. It's all yours, baby. She's sorry. I'm not sorry, but I mean, I didn't. First of all, I did not know I was going to have her until she actually connected.
Yeah, that's great.
But I got how did I find? Oh, I got her name through a gal that my wife considers her my. They want to speak to me.
They're obviously watching.
It says spam, so
it's a Raleigh number, but sometimes the spam numbers are like local.
Yeah. All right. Anyhow, what was I saying?
You're saying that you didn't know you were going to connect with her till you were kind of worried about it.
Yeah, because I know she's under surveillance and stuff like this, and
yeah,
I can tell.
Aren't we all now, Dave?
Well, apparently, but you would think these days we're getting a little better. I mean, I asked her about the FBI now and the DOJ now, and she says, "Yeah, it does sound like it's getting better." Why don't you go ahead and answer that? Yeah.
Could be a complaint.
Oh, I don't care. I'll tell him I call him back. Screw it.
Bill
Okay.
only has 6 minutes left.
Anyways, we got 6 minutes. Tell me your whole life story. Come on. You know it.
Well, it really starts with the American Revolution.
You ain't that old. That's JJ's bit.
Oh, that's so old.
256-year-old guy.
I still crack up at that. Like when Dan Quayle was running for vice president.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're young, inexperienced, and he's like, I'm the same age John F. Kennedy was.
Yeah.
And as Lloyd Bentsen, he goes, I knew John F. Kennedy. Or Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine, and you're no Jack Kennedy.
And he just melted.
Yeah, so he destroyed Dan Quayle. Well, then 4 years later at the Republican National Convention, Reagan's talking, and he's like 81 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
This cracks me up. And he's talking about Bill Clinton, and he goes, they fancy Bill Clinton to be the second coming of Thomas Jefferson. Well, let me tell you something. I knew Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was a friend of mine.
Well, we got to joke about that on it about him giving the State of the Union address. And
who, Reagan?
Yeah, and he comes up and he says, now I want you to understand something that I didn't exactly know George Washington. But it's been said that my speeches are just like his. So something like that. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
An exact quote from Washington, and he says, just for the reporters who like to base everything on accuracy, I did not actually hear George Washington say those words.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, this has been a fun show. Oh, my God. I'm sorry about it's got 4 minutes. What can I say?
Next time, give me the whole hour. Next time, 10 to 11.
I'll give you the whole hour.
Yeah, we could. It goes by fast.
Well,
anyway.
you know what? If you show up on time.
Okay, next time I'll show up on time.
I know. Yeah,
that's why I don't feel bad. I'm like,
you were 10 minutes late.
But really, there were 10 more minutes. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, but okay.
I mean, this is a show.
I can occupy myself, But if you ever do the show, you can't be 10 minutes late.
I could do the whole show. Next time, I'll do the whole hour.
This man wants to do the show with Don Mayhew. How are you going to get a word in sideways with him?
I think that sometimes people, they say less when they say more when they say less, speak with their actions. I'm that kind of guy. So.
Oh, so are you gonna threaten him or
Don,
hey, you shut up?
Can I tell a story real fast? We got 3 minutes. Okay, so there's a softball tournament that they do every year.
Yeah.
It's like a big thing. Let us say, but I don't go because I'm usually working or busy or something.
Yeah.
But I didn't go this time. And Don's playing softball, and this guy threw the softball and hit Don right in the forehead and knocked him down. This happened like Tuesday night. And so everybody was joking with me the next day. They go, "Did you pay MoDOT?" Because Don's always into it. He's always into it with MoDOT, right? He's like fighting. He goes, "Did you pay MoDOT to knock Don out?"
Good.
So next day, Don comes to work at the floor, and he's got this big old bandage on his forehead, and everybody's talking about it. And I go, "Don, I heard you died." And he was like laughing, and he was like, "The next time you pay MoDOT to take me out."
Well, I think you guys would do a good job. I'll let you know when we're finally going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So we got to go somewhere, right, honey? Okay.
Now we need our real ID to do.
So
it.
you got to.
Oh no, it's too goofy.
Show me your papers.
Show me your papers.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are we going to do that? Well, I guess we got to stay in the States for a while, huh?
gotta
we
do
can't
if
tell them where
you
we're
wanna
going
fly
now.
or we have to
Oh
pay
my
their
God,
passports, or both.
that was really interesting with her. So that's something else. And I got her from Johanna Lieb. Well, I also got Jeff Zink, and I got Tom Havlin. And my wife says, "That's your girlfriend again." She's probably older than she is. she's in New York, and I've never met her or anything. And this other gal, she's 82. What the hell? And she's brilliant. This one, she knows about everything.
I hope you'll have me back on, Dave.
It could be a problem. I don't know. What the hell? I'll have you. No, I'll have you on.
I'll have me on. Okay.
You'll
come
have-
on.
and you'll
come on and
the show.
and we'll hit.
As long
we'll
as
talk
you
about stuff.
promise that you can control, Mayhew.
Nobody can control Don Mayhew.
Well, you can give him a lot of crap.
Yeah, we're good. We're friends.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the last 20 seconds, so I'm going to leave this open for me to say it was a hell of a show. Nice work, everybody, and it was a lot of fun. And I hope you listened to it. Spread the word. I'll be back with another edition of the Dave Weinbaum Show next week.
Gotta reach 'em, sit right down, then you